All right. Let's try that again.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Actually, clap on three. On the number three. So 1, 2, clap.
All right.
Okay. 1, 2. All right. I think I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But there's two.
You're gonna have a delay, but
There's two clap plays. All right. Hey everybody. Welcome to the podcast that I still don't have a name for. I'm thinking Kiwi Kandor. How's that sound? Is that a good? Like, cause it's like
Kiwi Kandor, huh?
like candid. You know, it's like these are my candid. Except it's edited. That's why I don't really want to call it that, because it's edited. I feel like that's a little disingenuous. What do you think?
I'm gonna think about that. And
I
think
don't know. My last guest also was like, you got to think of a better name, because all the names that I gave him, he was like, these are not very good. So I don't know. I think
I feel like Kiwi Candid is like the most mild thing that you could possibly think of.
I've never been good at coming up with names. Anyway, this
I'll
is my
simmer on that.
This is my guest.
Yeah, I'll simmer on that.
This is my guest, Spectral Etcher.
What's up?
He's been a great friend of mine, pretty much not my whole life, but more on that later. But he's been a great friend of mine, and I wanted to have him on because today we're going to be talking about Legend of Zelda, another great series like Pokemon that I think is good to start off this podcast with. That I think most people are like familiar with. I don't have to really, everyone has some baseline of understanding of Legend of Zelda. So I think, the audience can be involved in the conversation a little bit as well. But yeah, this is Spectral Etcher. I'll be referring to him as Spec sometimes just because that's a bit of a mouthful. So that's what I'm saying if I ever say that, audience. I'm not ever saying the other word that's bad that sounds a little bit like that.
Do you know that name? Did you know that name? I was signing up for League of Legends, and I put that name in like a name generator.
No way.
I'm like, yeah, dude, for real. And
you don't even play League of Legends.
I know. It's the craziest part. I put it in there, and it was like, okay, I can't be like the fucker 1, 2, 3, not like everybody else. So I gotta come up with something, man. And I did. Well, I didn't really come up with it; it just generated it. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like not retarded as much. So I'm gonna pick that one.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But okay, so today we're talking about Legend of Zelda, and specifically, we're talking about our preferences and some of the guiding factors to our preferences between 3D Zelda games and 2D Zelda games, because you guys might have seen that I on my stream, my Twitch TV stream, I sometimes will play Ocarina of Time randomizers, such as the footage that you are seeing right now. By the way, look in the footage when I do that perfect first try Mido skip. When I was recording that, I was pogging the hell out. I was so pogged. I was so pogging when
Dude, I remember
try Mido skip.
I remember when you were like first learning on how to do like all the stuff, in those games.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until it was fairly recently comparatively, I think, because we were like doing randomizers and shit. Sure. Yeah, we were doing randomizers, and you're like, man, just can't. I gotta do something different, and so you had to just like the bomb jump, man. I think
that was the gateway drug. Because every time we were playing, every time I was like streaming it for you guys in Mole Gang, you guys were always like, I guess you specifically were always like, when are you gonna learn how to bomb jump? And I was like, I don't need to do that. That's all the jank of Ocarina of Time is beneath me. And then Here I am, like anytime I see anything that's just a little bit out of reach, I'm like, I bet I could bomb jump over there.
Yeah.
But anyways,
respect, because that's like all I do with the retro games is like try and break them. It's like Super Metroid. They have all the shit you can do in that game.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and it's just breaking it all the time. It's the best.
That is ideal. Well, yeah. So I think that's we've announced that I'm big into 3D Zelda games. Spec over here is good at is good and interested in the SNES era, Link to the Past specifically. But I think you've dabbled in like the first one.
Yeah. I grew up in the first one, so like that was my initial exposure, right? So I would say my dad, when to kind of give you a background, my dad he bought an NES, and that was like my first exposure to like video games in general. Like, was a computer. I didn't start with Minecraft. Like it was you had the cartridge, you had the game, um, and then you had the just this huge box, and I couldn't like you know how when you got cartridges you gotta like blow them out first, and then if you touch them you just lose all your progress because the thing decides like just shift a little bit and then it's totally destroyed. All your progress is destroyed. Yeah, that was my experience, and so I started with the Legend of Zelda, uh, and because that was like probably the first game I ever started with too, to be honest. I had the gold like plastic case and everything. Like it was
Oh, you
one
had
of the
like the
original ones.
special edition one.
Yeah, like it was one of the original ones. And my dad's like, all right. So he was kind of the one that started playing it at first, and then I kind of just watched him because like my I guess at that point I think it was during like kindergarten, so I didn't like know what the fuck I was doing ever. I wasn't like truly sentient yet. Um, so I was just like, wow, that's you're doing the thing with the controller, and then like it's happening on screen, and it was awesome. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try it. So he hands me the controller, and I'm like, okay, so like what next? And then it was super simple. Like I think for what it's worth, the way I connected with the game was because I was outside a lot as a kid. Like that's what I was doing. I would just like fuck around outside all the time. And maybe you have some connections with that too. Like when you were a kid, you just didn't have shit to do,
Oh,
so
for
you just had to
sure.
wander around.
Yeah, yeah.
So like
It's especially
that,
easy. It's especially easy when for readers who haven't seen my or for listeners who haven't seen my my fucking million-year long returning to my hometown video. We grew up in a very small town,
yeah,
so
we did.
we could it was kind of safe to just wander around and do whatever.
Yeah, I mean you'd have to worry about certain individuals like picking you up or whatever. It was
Yeah.
mostly just a sleepy town with sleepy people. And in my part of town, and I think yours too, it was a lot of old people.
Yeah,
And there was all the kids that I knew were like just starting out. You know what I mean? It wasn't
yeah,
like it was like there was an influx of people that moved there, and there was a bunch of kids, and
yeah,
then
for sure.
everybody kind of just went to school together, and there was like this whole generation. Because before then, I knew very little of like kids my age. Um, at that point, I didn't know them previously, and I didn't see them running around. It was mostly just
It
us.
it did kind of feel like there was like a gap because obviously like I had my older siblings, but like
Yeah,
there it felt to me at least, maybe this is just the bias of like being young, but it felt to
sure.
me that there was just like not a lot of people in the generation above me. It was like
That's
there
what.
were a
Yeah,
bunch of people in our generation and a bunch of people like in my next older brother's generation, and then like my sister's generation kind of had a very thin, like my next sister above me's generation had like comparatively less. That's what it felt like to me, but I don't know. That
yeah.
might just be the bias of being young. But anyway, yeah. So you were going around adventuring outside.
Yeah, and I mean like that experience, I guess, kind of like formed what I thought like fun was as a kid, because you're out, running around, you're doing your thing, you're exploring. Um, it's just that's what you do. And so when I picked up this game, Legend of Zelda, the first one, and I may have not understood the concept of like the very little lore that they actually gave you at the beginning of the game. It
Mm,
was simple enough to where I didn't have to really worry about like all of that extra exposition, right? You knew you got to save somebody. You knew you had to like collect all the Triforce pieces. You know what I mean? You didn't really understand the concept of like the sages or the anything about the game really. You just knew that you had a sword and you were just going out and slaying shit.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
awesome.
yeah, you start in like a desert, right? You just start like you just dropped into a thing and there's a cave and you're naturally like, oh, what's in this cave? And you go in there and this old dude is like, take this, it's dangerous to go alone, take this, and then
take this stick.
You get a sword, and then the first thing that you want to do with the sword is like, I want to find stuff to kill.
Yeah,
which is pretty epic, honestly.
Because I mean, if you ever go outside and you take a stick, like that literally is the first thing you do as a kid. You pick up a stick and you start hitting stuff with the stick. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally the first thing. So it directly translated, and I was like, oh man, dude, this is familiar. And so I go through, and I'm like, but now I got this whole like map I can hit sticks with. Like, I'm not confined to just my backyard. You know, I can just do whatever, and I got purpose in this thing now. So I got investment already, you know, and so I think the really cool part about the first game that really kind of differentiates itself is the mystery of it. It doesn't like it's not in your face, and you can find all these little mysterious like grottos, and you know, kind of like you do in Ocarina of Time, where
but I guess like functionally the same. But I will definitely admit that like. In the first Zelda game, the grottos are much more like interesting.
Yeah.
In Ocarina of Time, they just kind of feel like they're there because you know, that's what's like, in a Zelda game.
Right. It's all, and the thing was, if you didn't have like the code book, or you didn't have like any outside, you know, because at that point I didn't use the internet. Mm-hmm. Like we grew. I don't know about you, but when I was that young, I wasn't really exposed to the internet at all. So I like had to rely on books and like bits of information, scraps of stuff. That was like, you know, pre-internet me.
Yeah.
So that was like my analog self doing it like the retro way as it was intended. So that was like super cool. So when I did find stuff, it was like, oh, I remember this from, you know, such and such .com, and I found all the shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't that guy, so I like legit found stuff, and I was like, holy shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like the feeling of that, it like as intended, dude. That there's really nothing better when it comes to that game. You know what I mean? And that's something that I like that didn't translate ever again after I was like that age and like, you know, played through the game, found all the secrets. You know, maybe I didn't find even all of them, but it was a natural progression. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I finally got out of that, but never again did I feel like, oh man, okay, you know, there's the natural progression of just as much as that game was, at least, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so, that's it's kind of been the first Legend of Zelda game was like one of the more recent ones. Probably when I was like 16, I played that.
Yeah,
and I definitely agree that like, because when I played it, I was also like, I don't want to like I'm gonna like actively not look up stuff, because you know that's sort of the context of the game is that like you're not supposed to, you know, you're not supposed to look stuff up, whereas like, I don't know, in more modern games, we'll talk about this one eventually, guys, but Breath of the Wild, that's a game that was like made with the internet in mind, kind of like there's 9 fucking Gorillion Korok Siege. There's 9 Gorillion Korok Siege you're supposed to get, and like there's no way that they designed that and we're not like they're just gonna look it up on the internet. But, you know, you get these grottos, and, like, they're kind of worthless in the grand scheme of things. You go in there, and they're like, oh, here's $20. Or sometimes you go into one, and it's like, fuck you, give me $20.
Yeah.
But, well, like, it was...
I was going to say, also, they do have, like, ones where they just give you a potion. There's ones that give you a heart. Like, there's stuff that if you don't find, you won't, like, find half of the stuff that you actually need. Yeah. Which, it's kind of crazy.
But the point I'm getting at is that like the design philosophy of that game kind of was like discovering stuff is the adventure. Like it is in the most literal sense of the word an adventure. Whereas like I can admit, and I kind of have developed this opinion over time that like Legend of Zelda, as it has continued, has stopped being an adventure game and has sort of become more of like an adventure experience. That sounds really pretentious to say, but I don't know how to word that differently than to say like they want you to see the story and they want you to see the adventure of the story. But the first game really captured that idea of like you are in a world that is unfamiliar to you and you are encouraged to go and explore around and adventure and try stuff out. And I wholeheartedly agree that like that's something that 3D Zelda games really have never been able to capture. And I mean that, listener, who's like, what about Breath of the Wild? I mean that. Breath of the Wild did not capture that very well. But, well, again, we got to eat our vegetables first.
So I think I'll kind of just add to that thought by kind of sharing a quote that was translated from an interview in the 80s. So, Shigeru Miyamoto was speaking for his goals about the original NES game, The Legend of Zelda. It was, and the interview, I guess, was published in like the 1980s or 1989. And he said, I wanted to create a game world that conveyed the same feeling you get when you are exploring a new city for the first time. How fun it would be, I thought, if I could make the player identify with the main character in the game and get completely lost and immersed in that world. So like he was trying to create like a mini backyard in the palm of your hand. You know what I mean? So that you could just like not simulate, because I feel like simulation is contained within the idea that you're already supposed to go a certain way with something, right? Yeah. Which is what the games after did, which they have their own strengths, and there's the narrative side, right? And then there's also the explorative side, right? And they kind of mix match and fuck around with it for the rest of the time that Zelda's existed. But the first game, I felt like sincerely gives you the opportunity to explore as much as you do with the mystery that is, you know, just throughout the entire world, and not like giving it to you on a silver platter and saying like, oh yeah, there's like 50 more of us, you got to find them all. You know, here's your Pokeball.
Hey, here's go ahead and find us. There's like, I'm imagining the Koroks, these
Look,
like 50-year-old dudes like, hey, you found me. There's like 900 more of us. Go ahead, find us.
And here, I know you're into seeds, man, so I shipped this out for you. Congratulations. You know what I mean? Like,
congratulations,
fuck you, man.
Yeah. I agree. When did you start getting into Link to the Past? Because I know that's the one that I've like, you know, we've spent many an hour in Discord shooting the shit over you playing Link to the Past randomizer. So when did that interest come about?
So I guess the natural progression that I went through for games, right? So I played the NES, you know, I played all those games that I had, really. And then my dad, again, kind of introduced me to another console. I'm like, there's another one? He's like, yeah, this one's
super even. You might even call it
this
super.
One is the Super Nintendo. I'm like, how do you make it better? And he's like, watch. So he plugs the cartridge in, and it's another Legend of Zelda game. And it's like, it hits you, man. It's like the three parts of the Triforce coming together, and then boom, and then you have that
and then
full screen.
The sword, and then it's like, dang,
dang. Yeah, like, awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. So I was like, oh, man, you know. And so here's the difference from that game and jumping forward to this game, right? I was kind of expecting to start out in the same kind of manner, which is like, here you go, here's a sword, go fuck around.
Start the game, kill guys.
Yeah, but no, it does not do that. The lore takes full effect. You just get thrown into like this cutscene. It's like, and then you know, this ominous music plays as they explain like, you know, the history and everything up to that point, and Princess Zelda's like communicating to you telepathically. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? What's going on right now? And so you wake up and you got pink hair for some reason. And like, well, okay, all right, whatever. And your uncle's sitting in a chair, and he's like, "Oh shit, I got to do something about this." And he comes out, and it's raining
Yeah,
outside.
what is he actually doing? What is he?
Yeah.
He's just like, I gotta intervene. There's like a fucking like coup going on or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Aghanim. That's who the bad guy is.
Aghanim.
Aghanim is like taking over
He's
the castle.
wizard.
Fucking
he's the wizard.
Uncle Dungus over there is like, I gotta intervene.
Yeah, Uncle Charlie's gotta do some business. You stay in bed there, sonny boy. I'm gonna go with the family sword that no one knows about. And so he goes in there because I guess he was like a knight at some point. And you're like, well, fuck that. I want to follow his ass. And you go out, and you're passing through all the guards. You talk to some of the guards. They're like, yeah, no, fuck off, kid. Go back inside. You're like, no. And you finally, go through this path. The cool part about it was it's like you still had free roam within that period, but like all the paths were blocked. But you're still in the environment that you're going to come back to later. You know what I mean? Under like a different different tone, because your uncle's fucking dead. And so you actually make it through the down to the some of the bottom levels of the castle, the basement level. And you see your uncle, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do it. They got me. The rats chewed on my toes, and I can't walk." And so you're like, "Oh shit! All right. Well, I guess this is happening now." You grab the sword. I don't know if you get the shield at that. You may get the shield at that point. I don't know. But you take your stuff, and you just start killing. You just start slamming.
You just start killing.
You just start killing. Like,
What did he actually die to down there? Because that's a good point. I never thought of that. What did he actually die to? The only thing that's in that like bottom part of the dungeon is rats. Did he actually just get like killed by rats?
Either that or like a guard came and like gave him the what for.
One guard came down and like hit him once. And it was like, I don't really care to like actually kill you. I'll just let you die down here with the rats.
Which is, again, kind of sad because all of, like, the level 1 guys, all the green fuckers that are, like, down there, they literally are so stupid that they will just run at you or walk away from you, even though, you know what I mean? Like,
and then there's some that are,
there's some that are sentient and some that are just, like, they're fucking walking around like it's lateral or longitudinal or, like, what? Yeah. Well, pick one, you know what I mean? So, anyway, I'm guessing the rats. I think the rats got him. Moldy Cheese himself, maybe.
Moldy
I don't know.
Cheese himself. Oh man.
Yeah, it was a basket case. That guy. Anyway, so you should start killing. And the thing is, like, okay, you got all this lore now. You're this kid. You're kind of just this kid. You're literally a kid, and you're immediately just like, yeah, I'm okay with this. You literally start murdering people.
You're killing humans. The guards are in the manga. I don't know if you've ever read the Link to the Past manga. I've been interested in like reading the like Legend of Zelda like official mangas. In the manga, they are humans. Like it's not like they're like ghosts or whatever. Those are humans. They're like possessed or something.
Yeah, so I read this somewhere. I looked at it somewhere. I don't know if they're. So I think the whole premise was they're all possessed by Aghanim's like curse.
Right.
But to my understanding, they're still humans.
They're still humans. They're still like people.
Well, they had to change the art style. Like they had to change the sprites to make them look less human, because they originally had like skin exposed and all of that. You could actually see like the humanness in them. But I guess Nintendo's like, no,
you can't do that.
That kid's straight up murdering people. We can't make him think that. Like, okay, like whatever, but that's what's happening, So I can assume that they're actually just like they're either that or I think that's the only thing I can think of. That literally you're just like murking people. Anyway, it's a Zelda game. I don't give a fuck. I'm having fun, And so you make it up there, and it's just you go through the narrative portion, but you're kind of blocked off. So the whole thing about Link to the Past, which I really like, is that they reuse assets, but they change the way, like they reutilize the world and they re-envision it. It's like it's not lazy. I think maybe people kind of put it on like the laziness factor of like, oh, well, you just reused the same shit and you made it a different house.
Oh no,
Like, what the hell, man?
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty partial to the like charm of sprite maps of like
Yeah,
tile maps. I'm pretty partial to that charm. I don't think it's lazy at all.
I've heard that argument, and I'm like, nah, man, it's not the same. Like, there's like subtle differences. The whole point of the Dark World is it's a mirror of the other world. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, which the Dark World again, super cool concept. I wish they had implemented so like something more of that type of thing with other games. Like that's never really explored. Maybe it's explored in like seasons. Did they ever like reference that in Oracle
No,
of Seasons?
no, not really. Not. I think the only other game that like makes use of that concept is Link Between Worlds, which is
Yeah,
like which is like technically like a direct sequel to Link to the Past. Like it takes place
right,
immediately after the events of Link to the Past. But
right.
no, yeah, I don't think they ever like observe that. And that's something I do want to touch on later is like these what is the metaphysics of the world of Legend of Zelda? Because there are weird like things that seem like they should be related, but just aren't for the sake of I don't know convenience.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, yeah, the Dark World is cool. That's a cool idea of like like it basically doubles the size of the entire world because there's
yeah,
literally
and
a Dark World equivalent to any place that you can be.
yeah, and maybe I'm not like educated on the lore and like because that's technically so to my understanding that's like the sealed realm, and they open up the sealed realm
Is
to
that
that. I think the dark
is that what the
the
like
dark
sacred realm is?
I think that's the like that's the corrupted version of the sealed realm,
Oh.
and so if that's the case, actually, that would make sense in why Skyward Sword did what it did with the trials.
Uh-huh.
But again, I'm not like super into the lore or anything, so I can't be like, oh yeah, well,
I don't know.
X
Yeah,
Y Z.
that's
You know,
I've never heard that interpretation before. That's cool. I've never heard that.
yeah, I think. Well, I think it's like in the actual game where it within the lore of it that it says like this, it's a sealed realm, but it was like corrupted or some sort like that. But
Hmm.
again, from my brief, understanding of that and not going too deep into it, I think the cool concepts of that game are like the mechanics too. Instead of just having like stab attack, you're stabbing, I'm stabbing.
Yeah,
You know what
you're
I mean? You got
swinging.
like this, you got your charge up attack, you got your swing. They add like diagonal motion to the game, which is
Hmm.
like top notch. That's awesome because you can avoid certain enemies. You can do kind of cool tricks with it. You can got like be on the edge of certain parts of the map and then kind of almost fall off,
You can go
but
on the
not really.
fun roller coaster dungeon, and
Yeah, oh fuck that thing, dude. Yeah, that level sucks. Yeah, with the turtle.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I
But
just dislike that level immensely.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, but that's cool. So the appeal of Link to the Past is just that like they took the scope of the original Legend of Zelda game and they just like made it better. They did everything, they kept the sense of like adventure, they kept the sense of mystery, and then they were like, and then we're going to also add a bunch of cool shit on top of it.
Right, but then again, they also added like the narrative element to
Right.
it, which was a huge like again, which is again why I like. There's a part of me that really likes the singular narrative element that drives a story,
Mhm.
right? Which I feel like they've kind of like deviated from in the later games, which is fine. Like you got to have that evolution of games, right? But I feel like at the core of Zelda, that's kind of when it initialized, it locked in to like what it is. You know what I mean? It's not, and I'm not going to talk about Zelda 2. All right, we're
Well,
not
so
talking
actually,
about that.
I did though. This is sort of for later, but I did kind of want to touch on like the bad Zelda games because I think there is something there's something to be said for those. But
Right.
I'd also like to touch on this point that you mentioned because my last guest said something very similar to this, and I guess I just fundamentally don't agree with this mentality.
Okay.
So I guess I'd like to hear your thoughts on it because I heard his too. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
you mentioned that like it needed to some element of the formula of Zelda needed to change because it needs to evolve as a series. Why do you think there's like a necessity for a series to change fundamentally? Because I think that Zelda could have stayed exactly like you're describing it. I do think that it could have. There was just a decision for it not to. And when I hear people say things like, "Oh, well, it had to evolve," or you have to change these things, but it usually is also followed with something like, "But it's worse that it did." And if everyone agrees that it's worse that it changed in these ways, like, surely it could have just not changed then, right?
Well, okay, so I'll talk to this point. Like, what I truly feel is would much rather it have stayed like a like I wish it would have taken inspiration from Link to the Past and then gone with the same sort of formula for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just me. Like, I'm again, like, I grew up, I developed through these games. They kind of formed me. They kind of developed me to look at certain things certain ways, right? But and then that's just me. I would much rather have been that way because I don't want to make it sound like nostalgia factor is bad, because it's not. But I feel like after a certain point, like, you're playing this game and then something else has to be different on the next one. You know what I mean? You can't be playing the same game and remaster it.
I could, though.
I know you could.
Like, I'd be happy to.
I know you would, and I'm just trying to say, like, if you're gonna create a new game, right? There's different mechanics, there's different things you can add. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, a lot of what they add to it is kind of like learned. You're kind of learning how to ride a bike again, in the sense that you're trying to add to the experience, as well as trying to develop the way that you're going to accept the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at Link to the Past, I like immediately go back to it because I've played it before. I love the game. I do. I like it for its elements. I like it for its mechanics. I like the art style. There's certain things that I like about it, and there's certain things that other people don't. I think a lot of the younger generations, they may may or may not, but they don't get a whole lot of exposure to the older stuff like I did. I was very grateful for the fact that I grew up, and my dad, started me off on all of the stuff that he grew up playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can. We kind of have a unique perspective on that, because I had very much the same thing, where like I grew up playing games that were like one or two generations behind where everyone else was. For reference, listeners, we are both describing a time when Twilight Princess came out, when the GameCube was like what was out. When Spec and I are talking about like when we grew up and the games we had, GameCube was out. We should have been playing Twilight Princess. So
yeah, that was the target demographic. Like,
right,
we were the target demographic at the time, but we were starting out, playing older games and like the analog of that. You know what I mean? I felt like because we were able to like learn to appreciate the old stuff, the newer stuff kind of. Not that to say Twilight Princess had anything wrong with it.
Oh yeah, I'll touch on Twilight Princess in the GameCube era, but there's definitely something to be said for like these games are classics for a reason, and to imply that like they needed to evolve, like they like the concept of Legend of Zelda would not have succeeded if you took Link to the Past and you made Link to the Past 2 but in 3D, and to say that wouldn't succeed, I just can't get behind that sentiment personally. But it sounds like you agree. It sounds like you agree that like you would prefer that they did just make Legend of Zelda or Link to the Past 3, but you're willing to accept that like the next generation might appreciate a different, which that's I can certainly appreciate that for sure.
Well, you kind of add to that too. I feel like, again, we're both in a unique situation in that, but I feel like from our perspective, things are much better the way they are is because we've had exposure to them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're classic and they have all these elements that we take to heart, right? Who's to say? Again, that's very, it's a very subjective view because art is subjective to a certain degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's something objectively better because we've kind of conceptualized these things as what they are, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
these kids that are growing up now, they're playing, let's say, little Charlie's playing Fortnite, right? And
I knew you were gonna say Fortnite.
Yeah.
I was literally just like, he's playing Fortnite.
He's playing Fortnite, and he's got the battle pass, and he's like, oh my god, this is my first experience with this game. He's gonna look back on that game one day, and he's gonna say, dude, and he's got his kids. He's like, dude, you don't even know what Fortnite is, so you got to know what Fortnite is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm playing Bliplorp. Bliplorp's the best. And this thing,
I love Bliplorp. I love Bliplorp.
I love it. Like, you won't have the same connection from generation to generation. It just it'll never exist. It's the same way that people can't pass down everything they learn. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can still, Plato's work still exists. Does that mean that some guy that lived, and like lived that stuff, you know what I mean? He's all about it, is going to have the same appreciation as, for fucking, some book that has just no words and pictures, you know what I mean? But some person that grew up with that and really took it to heart and attached themselves to that as a concept is going to really love that book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'll say about the evolution of games in general, it's inevitable because companies, for one reason or another, need to find another way to make money.
Right. So
we're both aware of that.
Yeah, your stance on it is less that it's your stance kind of sounds like you're saying you recognize that games are going to change whether anyone wants to or not. Like it's not necessarily a choice that, Twilight Princess isn't Link to the Past. Yes. Twilight Princess can't be Link to the Past because Link to the Past was made in 1998 or whatever. And Twilight Princess was made in 2002.
It was made at a different time with a different mindset, with a different concept. And the people that made that game aren't all the people that are working on Twilight Princess. So it's even at the conceptual level where people are creating these experiences, they're new people. They might have people that are like pushing, you have to have this, have to have that. Sure, they'll take inspiration from that, but Zelda itself is always going to be derivative of itself, because as a concept, the IP exists as its own identity at a certain point, right? You can't change everything about Legend of Zelda. You gotta have something reminiscent, But I feel like at a certain point, there is a dilution that happens where IPs become so oversaturated with themselves they no longer have the feeling. A good example, fucking Star Wars. Pretty Star Wars sucks. People will hate me for this. I think it's trash.
I think that's I think that's actually a pretty common. I think that's actually a pretty lukewarm take. I think most people agree that Disney Star Wars sucks.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to really ruffle feathers, you go back to the year 2006 and you say the prequels suck.
Oh no, I love prequels.
Yeah, I love the prequels.
Here's the reason why I love the prequels is because I grew up with that, and there's a bunch of stuff that people that saw the original movies were like, dude, prequels suck. And they had the same mentality about the prequels that I have about the fucking sequel series. Oh man, that makes me so angry.
I hate the water rabbit. I hate him. I hate the funny water rabbit.
Yeah, and George Lucas is like, it's just a kid's. It's about politics, but it's a kid's show. You guys,
I want to put
Jar Jar.
I want to put Jar Jar in the movie.
Yeah, Jar Jar's gonna be the best. He's the best character.
Oh man, don't worry, guys. We'll do a Star Wars podcast eventually, but
yeah.
All right, so my sort of experience with Zelda is again very similar to yours in view. That growing up, I kind of only had hand-me-downs. I mentioned this in the last episode, and it's going to be a recurring theme whenever I talk about these early Nintendo experiences.
Oh yeah.
But my first experience with Legend of Zelda was Ocarina of Time, because we had an N64 and we had like 5 games on it. We had Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and Donkey Kong 64. I guess we had like Banjo-Kazooie also. I don't know. I can't remember my entire library, but it was very few games, but it was all the best games except for Mario 64. Mario 64 we did not have. I didn't know that game existed.
Wow, that really? You didn't know that game? Wow,
I didn't. Yeah, no. I had such a like media. I had such a sheltered life in terms of like what media existed in the world. Like if it didn't exist in my house, I pretty much didn't know that it existed for forever. Wow. And it's not like I knew anyone else who had an N64, so it's like I could not be like, oh, like Mario 64 is a game that I don't have. I was like, oh, whatever. The one other person I knew who had an N64 had like the exact same library of games. Like it just happened that they had pretty much the same library. So I was like, okay.
He's like, sorry, shit out of luck, man.
Yeah, but yeah. So I grew up with Ocarina of Time, and we have a different experience on that though, in that you are the oldest. If you don't mind my doxing you, you're the oldest of your family.
Yeah.
And I'm the youngest of my family, and
right.
The dynamic of playing video games is very different when you're the youngest or the oldest. I pretty much didn't play Ocarina of Time. Like, I did not even know how to play that game. It was just kind of a game that, like, one of my brothers would randomly boot up, and I would, like, have to, like, scramble down the stairs to catch a glimpse of this game. I didn't know. I could, like, I had this really bad habit when I was a kid, where, and I remember doing this. That's why I have this memory. I did not know how to read. Or, like, I guess I did know how to read, but I just chose not to read ever. And so, like, whenever dialogue was happening, I would just, like, make it up. Like, I would just, like, pretend that they were having an entirely different conversation.
I'm honestly so glad you said that, because that's exactly my experience with any dialogue that happened in the past. Yeah. I don't know if it's because it was some sort of tism thing or what, but like I was like, you know what, I get the gist of what he's probably saying by not looking at the words.
It wasn't even close though. Like I was like talking about pizza. I was like talking about like whatever was just on my mind, and I was like, this character is saying that thing to me.
Yeah.
And it didn't help. It didn't really help that like when my brothers would play it with me in the room, they would do that thing that, like, you know, we do now. It's just the thing that you do when you've, like, played a game a bunch of times or you don't really care about the... Well, you just make up what they're saying. Like, you know, like we just did with Uncle Dungus when he's dying. The actual thing that he says, the actual dialogue that he has, like, is meaningless to us. If we were playing it right now, I guarantee that you would walk up to him, press A, and then you'd be like, oh, I'm dying. And then you would press A again and walk away. So, like, you know, they did that thing, and my brain was like, that must be what they're saying, because I trust my brothers implicitly.
I see. Okay.
so I was just like, I was like, I have no clue what anything is. But what I loved about the game is that it was like, the first time that I had seen a 3D, like, fantasy game. Because my brothers and my dad would tell me a lot of these, like, fantasy stories. Where, like, oh, like, you know, you're knights and you're going fighting dragons and whatever. All these things existed in my head, like, conceptually. I had never seen a game actually present that. That was sort of my first experience in, like, visualizing these stories that I was told. Even, like, again, has nothing to do with the stories that were told me. They didn't tell me Legend of Zelda stories when I was that young. But it was like, that was the first time that, like, oh, I know all these stories about dragons and stuff, and then I go into the Dongo's Cavern, and I'm like, holy shit, it's dragons. This is dragons. So, like, it just kind of, it was the first time that like my imagination could be visualized to me. Because like forever, my imagination up to that point had all been like words. It was all just words and ideas that I would like act out in my backyard. I'd pick up sticks and, you know, swing them around at stuff. But like I never had an outlet to like, whoa, this is what I'm seeing. So I never really played Ocarina of Time. When I did like play it, I was kind of a serial like game destroyer. I mentioned in the last episode of the podcast that I like destroyed our only copy of Pokemon Stadium 2 because I poured water on it. I don't know why I did that, but that must be the case because that game I have the cartridge. I found the cartridge. It still doesn't work. So I'm like, that must have been what I did. I just don't remember why I would do that. But anyway, I wasn't trusted with game cartridges. So like it was a rare instance where I would have to like beg my siblings to let me play the N64, and then I would get into Ocarina of Time and just kind of fuck around because I didn't know how to play the game. And I would like started a new game. I basically would like, you know, dink around in Kokiri Forest, and I will say that like it was pretty nice to play that game as a kid though, because it, you know, you start as a kid, and when you're a kid you can really like I really connected with Link when you know with young Link, that it's like, right, yeah, this is a kid, this is me. Like, this is stuff that if I was doing this, I would also probably be scared shitless. That, you know, I go into this scary tree. The tree is like, hey, I trust you. You're brave. Go in there and do this thing. And then there's fucking giant evil spiders in there. I'd probably scream too. So, like, yeah, you know, I really attached to Link as a character. And, I kind of had this complex as a kid that, like, you know, I'm young, you know, I'm the youngest of 7. You know, I'm too little to do anything, and it was just kind of empowering to me to play a game where you're this kid doing stuff, and you know, obviously my awakening, you know, Princess Ruto, my beloved,
oh yeah,
that interaction happened.
Sweet fish gills.
Yeah, my Zora GF. But I mean, seriously though, completely unironically, that was like a moment that, like, when I was a kid, I played that and I was like, wow, like I saved her and she's my girlfriend now. You know, like I guess I you know, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll admit it.
Yeah. Everyone's, you know, got that
fucking,
like moment.
These kids, these other guys, they're afraid to admit it. This is the kind of candid. This is why it's Kiwi Kandor, because I'm gonna be candid, and I'm gonna tell you, I was fully convinced when I was 6 years old that Princess Ruto was my girlfriend.
Well, you know what, man? Like that's every guy's dream, right?
Yeah.
Is to be like that. You know, that sweaty like fucking guy that like saved like the 50 orphans on a burning train. And you get the girl afterwards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's your thing, man. You did that shit.
Yeah.
And you get the, you know what I mean? That I get that. I get it, for sure.
But it wasn't until so I will say, like, my adventure with Ocarina of Time when I was a kid, when I was like less than 10 years old, or probably less than 12 years old, was it pretty much stopped at the adult section, because like, the moment you become an adult, it's, you know, it's fucking scary. You walk out and there's zombies everywhere. And I was a big pussy when I was a kid. So I was like,
right,
I'm not playing this. This is scary. So I would just usually get my brothers to do it, and I just kind of, you know, washed my hands of it and was like, whatever. That's Legend of Zelda to me. And same thing for Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask though was a little different to me because you're a kid the whole time, and it's sort of a continuation of, it's like it is a direct continuation of what happens in Ocarina of Time. So I'd actually seen the ending of Ocarina of Time. I know what happened because I'd watched my brothers play it. And then, you know, you get Majora's Mask, and it's like, this is the same guy, but he's a kid again. Like, this is a child with the like muscle memory of this guy who saved the world. and
Yeah.
he gets kind of like unleashed upon this world where, you know, like he doesn't have to hold back, because, you know, it's like that thing where, you know, where it's like, oh, Batman, when like he's fighting someone who can't die or something, and he's like,
Right.
you know, goes nuts. That's what it always seemed like to me with Majora's Mask Link, that he was like, you know, he went through all this shit, literally an entire lifetime, and then like he goes back to being a kid, and the way that my brothers explained that sort of thing to me when I was a kid, because when I was a kid I was like, why, like, what's the big deal? They were like,
Right.
he can't relate to anybody. Like, how could he relate to anybody? Like, he goes back to being a kid. What kid is going to be able to relate to him?
Because he's no longer really a kid.
Yeah.
He's honestly, if you think about it, he's really like a traumatized, like, adult stuck in a kid's body.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, he hasn't been, like, relatively speaking, his willpower is probably what's making him like the developed adult figure in his mind. So he's not even like really an adult, but he's like a hard ass motherfucker. You don't fuck with, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like even as a kid, I was like, this is like so badass. And like the first thing that happens in Majora's Mask after, like, when you control Link is he's doing like backflips and stuff. When you're like jumping from platform to platform, he's doing like cartwheels midair and like backflips. And I'm like, that's so fucking cool. But yeah, and then you get dropped in Clock Town, and even though like the moon is gonna crash down, and that fucking scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, I would literally cry when that happened. What was nice about it, one, was that I could, when I figured out how to actually fucking play the game and use the ocarina, I figured out how to like reset the time.
Yeah.
And two, when you know how to reset the time, you can kind of just explore the world at your own pace. And what I loved to do as a kid with especially with well, I only really had 3D games, but what I loved to do is I would like find just some like quiet place in whatever game. You know, in Ocarina of Time, I think the place that I chose in Ocarina of Time was the fucking the Zora's place, because you know, Princess Ruto's there.
Zora's Domain.
Yeah, that's where Princess Ruto is. So that's where I got.
That's my GF is.
Yeah,
man. I got to be close.
But in Majora's Mask, I found so many, and I guess it just speaks to like how well Majora's Mask is designed, that like there are so many of those like just quiet places. Majora's Mask is a game that has so much like atmosphere. The atmosphere is so rich in Majora's Mask that you can just really find any place that's like quiet and just kind of watch the world pass by. So officially, I would say that Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game. And that's kind of the one that I'm like, this is the quintessential 3D Zelda game. Really, it hasn't gotten better than Majora's Mask, and I know that like that's really like a Redditor take. Not to say that like I'm a Redditor, but to say like that's like the sort of commonplace take from people is like, Majora's Mask is so good, dude. It's so awesome, and like it's so like it's. Did you know that it's like dark, and that it's like it has these really adult themes? Like, I wish that I could talk about Majora's Mask and not sound like that.
Right.
But that's how I feel. I mean, it is a game that is very unique in how it presents the world. It's the first time that like Link is a character. If you understand that, like in every other game, Link is kind of not a character beyond an extension of you. An extension of your will, you know, like even in like Skyward Sword, where they really try to make Link his own character, he's really not. He's really just whatever you know. Skyward Sword Link probably doesn't want to like throw pumpkins off the side of the thing.
He's you know, it's almost like you could see it in his face in the game where he's like doing something he shouldn't, and he's got like this horrified face. Like, I've seen it. Like, you bump into that chandelier, and you're kind of like pogging on like why you shouldn't have done that thing.
Yeah,
almost.
But yeah, Majora's Mask is really like what sort of got me invested in 3D Zelda games. And by the time that I was like old enough to start playing Zelda games on my own, Majora's Mask was like the first game that I ever beat was Majora's Mask. And the first game that I ever like 100% completed was Majora's Mask.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like, you know, because again, it's sort of the difference between being the youngest and oldest child. I never beat games when I, you know, like I was not allowed to beat games almost. I guess, you know, if you asked any of my older siblings this now, they would deny that this was the case. But the way that it was, as I will say, is there would just come a point when I would get far enough into a game that one of my older siblings would just start playing my save file.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
yep, I get that.
I never beat a game until Majora's Mask, where, like, I was kind of like, all right, time to buck up. I gotta beat this game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Majora's Mask was the first game that I ever beat. And the first game that I 100% complete, because I was like, damn, this was a good game. Let me play through it again and actually get all the fucking masks and stuff. And, boy, that was a nightmare. That was my first, like, that was actually the beginning of the disease. Was Majora's Mask. I like developed the disease from Majora's Mask. Listeners, the disease refers to a
compulsion.
A compulsion to 100% complete a game, even when like you've hit the exhaustion of like, it's not worth 100% completing anymore. The effort that's required to do it is too much. But the disease keeps you going, and and I first knew the bite of the disease from playing Majora's Mask. But yeah, so that was sort of my first experience with 3D Zelda games. But of course, I've played. We had a GameCube, I should mention. We did have a GameCube, and I had Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask, and I have to this day never beat Wind Waker. I always get to the part where you have to collect all the 8 Triforce pieces, because like the Triforce is broken and you gotta collect them, and that part is just so fucking tedious. That,
you know, I got fond memories though. I got fond memories of us being in your basement. You know, your unfinished basement.
Yeah.
It was like a dungeon, and I remember us just sitting on like, I don't know if it was like a couch or like a mattress or something, because we used to do sleepovers down there.
Yeah.
And you were playing Wind Waker, and I would just like watch you play that game. I was like, man, I've never seen this before. What is this? And you were like, oh, it's Zelda. I'm like, no way.
This isn't Zelda. What the fuck is the Z? What is the Z axis? I've never seen this.
Why's this guy got a wand? Like,
well, yeah. So that's actually a good connection, because I was gonna say that the first time that I had actually seen any of the played any of the adult section of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was at your house. It was actually like, it was actually like I went over to your house, and that was probably the first like sleepover we had, and I think I was 10. It was like definitely you were like a friend of my friends, and I just didn't know about you.
It was a Zach? Was it a friend of Zach?
It must have been Zach, yeah.
Okay.
But it was before you two lived like next to each other, though. It was while you lived in the gingerbread house.
Yeah, the Pine Street house. That was some classic times. We were probably sitting on a pull-out couch.
We were,
or something like that.
It was,
playing the Wii. I still have it. It's the black special Wii. And I had the classic controller, and we were playing that game because at that time you could still buy stuff on the Wii Shop, which you can't now.
Rest in peace, the Wii Shop.
Yeah, man. But yeah, dude, I remember that for sure. Those are good times.
Well, yeah. So I like. That was the first time that we like hung out, and I was kind of trepidatious about like, oh man, he's got like a bunch of old stuff. Like I was like I don't know how to like talk to this guy because like yeah we both have like old stuff but his stuff is older than mine and I don't know how to talk to him. And then when you said something about like oh yeah I have Ocarina of Time but I don't know how to play it. And I was like, oh, I like this is where I can. This is where we can. This is where I can talk with them. And I remember like we played like, I think we got all the way to the Fire Temple in one night. Which like nowadays that's not impressive. I can beat that whole game in like one sitting. But when you have two like 9-year-old or 10-year-old kids,
one of whom getting distracted.
One of whom like doesn't know how to play the game, and the other who has never played the game ever. Getting to the Fire Temple from the start of the game is pretty good. And that's like a core memory of mine is because I remember we did the Big Goron thing was like the last thing I did with you that day was I was like, oh, did you know that like you can get a really big sword? And you were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, you gotta like do all this like dumb stuff and then you get a sword. And we didn't have the internet, so like we literally had to like I literally had to like draw from the ancient memories I had of like my brothers doing it.
Yeah, I remember that. That's hilarious.
And we did it. Like we got all the way there, and then we just like kept spamming him until he would give us the sword because he's like, "You have to wait, you fucking annoying kid. You have to wait."
Yeah. And we didn't have the concept of like passage of time in the game down. So we're just like, "Oh, we'll wait 5 minutes and hope we'll come back." And then he's like, "No,
you have to wait.
You can't do that."
But yeah, so we've definitely sort of colored each other's opinion on 3D Zelda games. As in, you have painted mine as like this is the first time that I've actually played the game, like by myself, and me being the first person to show you that 3D Zelda games are in fact Zelda games.
Yeah, they do exist.
Yeah. But yeah, Wind Waker, I couldn't, I could just never get past it. I mean, I think, like, when I played it with you that night, that in the basement, that was pretty much, like, the furthest I'd ever gotten. Because, like, I was like, you have to get all these, like, Triforce pieces, and then you're like, well, where do you have to go? And I'm like, I have no clue. I have no idea.
It's just a vast open ocean.
You just literally, like, here's the ocean, and there's nothing in it, which is, like... Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll talk on this now. Yeah, it's like they took the idea of like the first Zelda game where they're like, look, it's all these tiles, and you can like scour the entire tile for all the stuff. And they were like, let's do that again, but with Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. And they missed the part where you have to actually put stuff in the game. Like, listen, I love Wind Waker. I think Wind Waker is very fun. I think the first, like, 6 hours of that game is really, really fun. And then you have to get the Triforce pieces. And I've never once been able to, like, sit through that. And I try. I have the fucking, like, HD Wind Waker, the Wii U version. And guess how far I got in that one? I got after the fucking, I did the Earth Temple, I did the Air Temple, and then it was like, now you have to get the Triforce pieces, and I'm like, ugh, I'm not gonna do this. Which brings me to my sort of what started this. We're hitting the point in time and space now where the first inklings of this exact podcast sort of began in me. So, are you familiar with like, with like early YouTube?
So, I really didn't start watching YouTube till I was probably like 12 years old, honestly.
About the time that I started.
So that's old YouTube to you?
Yeah, well, yeah. So what I mean is like, not necessarily like when you started watching YouTube, but like the origins of like content on YouTube, like Newgrounds, and sort of the life cycle of how YouTube kind of got to where it was now. The reason I bring this up is because I'm about to bring up Ego Raptor, the sequelitis series on YouTube. And I just
so funny, maybe totally unrelated, but I remember, I think actually you were the person that introduced me to YouTube as a platform,
probably
because we used to, well, it may have been you or may have been Noah, but we used to watch Smosh. I think
that was probably Noah. That was definitely Noah.
Was that Noah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I remember
I was not allowed to watch Smosh.
Okay, well that makes sense. So Noah honestly was the one that introduced me to that stuff, and so he would basically just put on Smosh, and we'd be just laughing for hours.
Yeah.
And then I got into the YouTube, the YTPs, the YouTube poops.
Oh yeah, the classics.
I used to watch that at Evan's house, and we would just be laughing like for hours, dude.
Yeah.
Hours. And it was just the stupidest shit, and it was great. And that was kind of like my experience and like introduction into that.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that actually, because I think actually my pipeline for like sequelitis for like my interests in YouTube videos now. I think the pipeline actually did start with Noah showing me Sonic shorts. Which I don't know if you recall. I don't know if you ever watched that, but Noah and I would we would whenever we were at his house, we would just like be watching Sonic shorts all the time, which is probably like wildly inappropriate. I should not have been watching that when I was a kid, because they're extremely raunchy. But
yeah.
But that was sort of my introduction to like Newgrounds animators. And eventually, I stumbled upon Sequelitis, which is Egoraptor, more commonly known, I guess, today for like Game Grumps. But before he did Game Grumps, he did this show. He had like an animation show where he would talk about video games in a sort of candid way, which Egoraptor, JonTron, and Peanut Butter Gamer were sort of the origins of Kiwikatgamer, so you can thank those for where we are now. But one of the videos, and I think the video that really spoke to me the most, was his video about Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. Obviously, I had a lot to, I had a very strong opinion of Ocarina of Time, and you were the only person that I knew who played Link to the Past. I didn't know anyone else who had any opinion on it besides you. So, when I watched that video, and that video has a lot of good points. There's a lot of points that, I think after the show, if you go and watch it, you'll be like, oh, that's definitely some good points. He has some good points. He has some kind of bad points. But really, that was kind of when I saw video game discussion as like a thing. Up to this point in my life, video games are just kind of this thing that only I seemed to participate in, really.
Right.
You were the only other person I knew who, like, not only had video games, but had opinions on them. Everyone else I talked to about video games, they'd just be like, oh, I have, like, Thrillville on my Wii. I'm like, what? What is that? What is that even? The original like slop, the original slop games.
Yeah,
was Wii
I've got
Shovelware.
I've got Nerf on the Wii.
Yeah,
yeah.
So, that was sort of the first time that I saw discussion, like video game discussion, and
right.
I was like, this is cool, and I would like to talk about video games in this way. And way back then, what we're doing right now was what I wanted to do. Like, way back in Kiwikatgamer, dubstep background time. Shout out to anyone in the audience, by the way, who remembers when I originally started Kiwikatgamer and I had, like, dubstep in background. Shout out to you guys, because you guys are the real ones.
The real OGs.
But yeah, even all the way back then, I wanted to have like a similar conversation to what we're having now, but I didn't know how to do it, and I'm glad I didn't do it back then, because I would not have known how to have a conversation.
Right.
I mean, I can't speak for you back then, but I just remember being like a horrible squeaker, who just would. I just wasn't very funny, and I cringe at everything that I made, and that's why it's all unlisted. And you'll have to subscribe to the Patreon, and I'll give you guys snacks every week. I'll give you guys snacks every week, and I'll release these unlisted videos for you guys. Just kidding. I don't have a Patreon. I might, but I don't. Anyway. Anyway, my point is, that was sort of the first time that I like even knew about 2D Zelda games and saw the merit in them when I was like 10 or 12. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I understand now why someone would want to play 2D Zelda. Because at first, my opinion used to be like, oh, well, like, why would I ever want to play 2D Zelda games? Like, it's not as fun. There's not as much to do. But, like, I recognize then, and more so now, that, like, okay, there's something to be said for, like, how a story can be told when everything isn't displayed for you. And how, like, the world can be a little bit more like how there is a breadth of world that just isn't present in 3D because everything in 3D has to be rendered, and whereas in 2D you can kind of have a world that can be as big as you want, and you're only limited by how many tiles you can come up with.
And to add on to that point, so kind of coming back to what I was talking about at the first part of this, the imagination that you have to implement, I feel like, is a lot different from the 2D to the 3D. Like, I feel like there's inherent difference in the way that you actually visualize the game in your mind, and how you immerse yourself from a 2D to a 3D game. Because, like you said, like 3D games, they want to give it all to you on a platter. You know what I mean? They want to. This is how it is. This is where everything's supposed to go. Here's the physics of the game. You know what I mean? Like, you just you're working within your means. It's your world, but this is how it is, right? Whereas the 2D games, they still do that, but they're not keeping you on that dog leash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like, hey, the most amount of enjoyment you're going to get out of this is the most amount that you're going to put into it. So there's almost an imagination, like the pixels, right? If you really look at them, super simple. There's a walk cycle, but like, if you're going to look at a game for hours on end, and it's not going to be some sort of 3D masterful rendering of something, you got to have some input of like you visualizing that there's something else going on in your own head to perpetuate the immersion that you're like applying to the game. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just a fundamental difference on the two. What do you think about that?
Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely something that, like, yeah, for sure. You sort of have to have an imagination to play like older graphics games, and that was really the selling point for a lot of games back then. And there was a weird moment in the history of gaming where like that flipped, and I think it was like the N64 or the advent of 3D games, where like the onus stopped being on the player to be creative. It had to be the developer now who was able to create something that like you actually had to see. Because like, think all the way back to about like the Atari. Like people were paying like $120 to play a fucking like game where like 9 pixels smudge themselves across the screen. And you're supposed to be like, that's a fucking fighter jet, dude. That's a fucking fighter jet.
Holy shit.
These graphics are fucking crazy, dude. So like,
oh my god.
That's always been a thing. And I recognize the merit in that, because a lot of times with these modern games, you get these modern slop, like graphics slop games. I know I just said slop like 9 times and didn't elaborate, but like you get these games where the selling point seems to be like, look at how many fucking graphics we have.
Look how many triangles are gonna fit in a singular cubic centimeter.
And it's just like, it's gratuitous. It's gratuitous to be like, oh fucking, and it's even funny that we have this conversation because like that was the reason people hated Wind Waker. Wind Waker was like absolutely fucking panned when it came out because so many of these fuckers, these graphic sloppers, were like, the graphics are bad. It looks like a fucking cartoon. This is for fucking babies. And like,
yeah,
like, what is your problem? You know, like, what the fuck is your problem? You need to touch grass, I think.
yeah. So it's really funny. Again, it's really funny that you said that too, because, and I know it's not Zelda or anything, but in the broader like discussion around video games in general, I remember like I want to say 2011, 2012, when Black Ops, Black Ops 2, all of that, all those games started to come out, and like super realistic graphics, lighting technology, textures, like all that shit became like realistic, and it added a whole like I want to say like a bunch of shillers, right? And like I'm not knocking those games. I feel like if you're playing a Call of Duty game, yeah, you probably want to improve the graphics, but you don't have to enjoy, Call of Duty, or World at War. You know what I mean? But there's certain IPs that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
And I think Zelda is one of them. I think
I think so too.
The graphics really doesn't matter. What should matter is the adventure that you're going on.
Exactly, and that's what it's always been about. You know what I mean?
That's like the thing that I would say 3D Zeldas are typically good at. Which, like, again, I know I just talked about, like, oh yeah, 2D Zeldas have, like, a much better sense of, like, adventure, right? But 3D Zeldas have a much better way of making the adventure feel fun to play.
Yeah.
Like, even Wind Waker, fucking around on that boat for hours. At least it's fun to, like, jump up and down with the waves, and it's fun to, like, do the fucking, like, where the sword turns, there's, like, the sword flashing, you do the fucking roll around, and you slash the guy's armor off. That's such a satisfying, like, thing. That's such a satisfying mechanic. I've played maybe 3 2D Zelda games. I've played Link to the Past. Shout out to anyone who remembers when I tried to make, like, an ASMR playing Link to the Past series. That didn't work. That's also coming in the Patreon. I played Oracle of Seasons because that was a hand-me-down game. And I played Minish Cap because I was very curious to know what that game was, and I emulated it. So, sorry, Nintendo. Don't put me in your fucking slave prisons, please. But yeah, those are the only 3 2D Zelda games I've played. And all of them have a lot of very fun, like, mechanics. They certainly do have fun things that you can do, but the fact that it's restricted to a 2D plane kind of removes some of the, like, excitement to me. To me, personally. I don't know that it, I don't know that I can necessarily speak for you on that, but I can definitely say that, like, I much prefer learning cool tech in, Ocarina of Time than, like, Oracle of Seasons. Because the cool tech you can do in Oracle of Seasons is, like, did you know that if you, that you get a bust beetle and you get them to come close to you and you take out the rod and you smack them and then you fucking clip into a tree, and now you're clipped into a tree. Right. It's like, all right, yeah. No thanks on that one.
I think you are genuinely speaking to, a fundamental truth about 2D versus 3D, which is you are very restricted to the, like, mechanical side, right? Like 2D is definitely something you can't just go and dive into the the Z-axis, right? Like you can't. There's only so much you can do within the 2D world top-down view. Again, I'm not going to talk about Zelda 2, so I'm not doing that. But I'll say that you are generally restricted to whatever you can do within that plane. But what I'll say is the mechanics on the 3D side they're just like, they're leagues above, your capability in, like, Link to the Past, right?
Yeah.
I'll use Skyward Sword as an example because I feel like one of the coolest things I've ever seen and like in Legend of Zelda in terms of like a mechanic for a game was actually the environment, like the environment mechanic of the time crystal stones.
Oh
Like
yeah.
those things, that is one of the most inventive ways that I felt like in that game they were able to achieve like this 3D like effect and like also implement some sort of like character development, and it like it it honestly opens up so many questions about like, oh my god, I'm stepping into a different time
Mm-hmm.
without being like, without pulling the sword out and then I'm in it. Like this is a pocket dimension of time that existed in a desert that's dead. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
there's so many cool things. I love Lineru for like in Skyward Sword because of that and how they deal with time in that game. It is so cool. And I felt like 3D does it. You couldn't really have done that super well in the same way with like a 2D game. Like you could have added it and it could have been its own thing, but it's like the way that they presented it within this world. Like you're in this ancient factory, and there's all these like there's specific movements you have to do to like take out these robots, and there's these ancient flowers you have to get to like revitalize this robot that used to exist like for thousands of years ago, like primordial shit.
Yeah.
And it's like it is some of the, like even the music was super cool. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the coolest things in like a 3D Zelda title that like I was experiencing as a kid playing that game.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's what I remember that a lot when I was just going through that game. That was my favorite.
Um, yeah. It's there was a lot of cool ways that you can like they definitely took advantage of 3D. I think it's disingenuous to say like it was way better in 2D, which you're not saying that. I'm saying like it would be disingenuous for anyone to say that like
Right.
2D was just better in every way in terms of exploration. I don't think so. I think
I
some of my favorite like I think what 2D does better than 3D pretty much every time is puzzles. I
Yeah.
think 2D Zelda games are just always better at doing puzzles than 3D. I mean, like this is something that is said in Sequelitis too. Is like,
Right.
is it a fucking puzzle to there's an eyeball in the corner of the room that you have to like look up and shoot at? That's not a fucking puzzle. You know, that's not anything. The closest thing that 3D Zelda games get to puzzles is like, well, excluding Breath of the Wild. The closest thing those games get to puzzles is like use an item on this object, and that's every single puzzle. That's how every puzzle could be described. Whereas in in fucking Link to the Past, you have puzzles where it's like push a block here and then go to the mirror world and then use that block that you just pushed to use this thing and then fucking kill this turtle and then go back to the real world, and it's like actual puzzles. So
well, the cool thing too about it is it's like a top down view versus like a third person first person kind of thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You have almost like an omniscient being that is controlling the character, and it's like you are like doing your own thing, right? But there's almost like a version of you that's also above, just seeing you die and like struggle through all these puzzles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a part of you that's removed, but you can see everything around you, which is like a totally different experience than a 3D game, which is just like, yeah, I'm fucking around.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
Link.
I didn't see that. Okay, you got to do that thing. All right.
Um.
Like
Yeah, I think it's so. I want to touch on Twilight Princess because I think chronologically we got to talk about them in order, at least a little bit. Twilight Princess is a product of its time, and hey, you fuckers from the Undertale video, product of its time doesn't inherently mean that it's bad. All right, when I say that Twilight Princess is a product of its time, I'm saying that it's a game that only exists because of the time that it was made in. It was made in a time when every single fucking game had to be like edgy and for teenagers, and especially Legend of Zelda because they just suffered the fucking Wind Waker fiasco where they like all these fucking game journalists were like, this game is for fucking babies because it's cartoony. That's fucking stupid. I'm an adult. I want to play adult games. And then you make fucking Twilight Princess where you got fucking Telma the barkeeper with her tits out.
I wanted it gritty.
Like, they want it gritty. And I'm like, listen, that's fine. It's fine. It's a product of its time, though. You couldn't make Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess today. People would be like, this game is weird and edgy. If you made it today,
yeah,
they'd be like, "This is so like tonally strange." But the fact that it was released in 2006, everyone's fine with it. Twilight Princess is fine. I beat that game too. That was like the second game that I ever beat. It's fine. All right, it's a good game. Yeah, Noah. This is Noah's favorite game actually, so I can't talk too much shit about it.
Really,
it's Noah's favorite.
I didn't know that.
It's Noah's favorite Zelda game. But it's fine to me, and there are parts of it that I really enjoy. I think some of the levels are really cool, but for the most part, I'm distracted by the fact that it's really tonally strange for a Zelda game. It's not like the content is darker. It's not like the content is more adult. It's just that the game is like saturated, and characters are like more realistic looking. I don't know.
It's got that angst.
It's just angsty. I mean, it's the same thing that happened to like fucking Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter was like, they were like, fuck you, he has guns now, and it's like the future. And I'm like, why? Why did that happen? Who the fuck was in charge of that? That's such a. What's up?
Yeah, what I'll call it the future, the futurism effect.
Yeah.
Right. I see this happen all the time with like titles, movies. Like, here's a good example. So you remember Independence Day?
Yeah.
The movie?
Yeah.
With the aliens coming down, like wiping out the White House and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
With Will Smith.
That movie should have been a one-off. They should have not released a second movie.
Was there a sequel?
Because the second there is, and
the
reason you don't know about it is because the futurism effect happened. They reverse engineered all of the alien tech, and they're like, if those fuckers ever come back, we'll get them.
We'll fucking blast them in hell.
We'll blast them. I just started blasting. You know what I mean? Like, so, guess what they did? They started blasting, and nothing worked because the other advanced civilization like clutched up and started fucking everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even though like the futurism thing happened, it was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, this still feels like the aftermath of a movie that, like, I shouldn't be watching right now. It should have stopped. It should have stopped at Independence Day 1, you know? And so I see this in games, too, where it's like, oh, yeah, now it's the future. And I was like, okay.
Now it's the fucking future.
Now it's the future. And I was like, okay, so, like, what's cool about the future? He's like, we got tech.
Yeah, fucking.
We got holograms.
Yeah,
like,
we use fucking Pokemon for, we use them for fucking electricity now.
Yeah, I ate one last week.
Yeah, so, yeah. No, I agree. I think that's what I'm talking about, to that earlier conversation we had, where I was like, why does stuff need to evolve? This is what I'm talking about. Like, this just seems like a strange, like, why did that even need to happen? You say that like that's, not you, but someone somewhere thought it was a good idea to, like, let's make Legend of Zelda edgy. And, like, you didn't need to do that. What possessed you to be like, you know what this story about, like, this, like, fantasy world, this, like, fantastical sort of light fantasy world needs? Steampunk and tits and listen, there is no Zelda game that has tits like Twilight Princess. And then, you know, that sounds sus for me to say, but that's true. That's like, no Zelda game was as fucking like blatant about it.
You think back in whatever date that came
2006?
Out, it would have 2006. There was just some like Zelda, like corrupted Zelda gooners that were like, I need it.
There were. I guarantee you there were. I guarantee you there were.
They just needed it, bro. They were like, oh, Miyamoto was just like, I need you to create a game, and I
Yeah.
need you to appeal to the modern audience, and XYZ. And the guy's like, oh, I can do that.
I can do that. Oh, I can
I
do.
know the target
Yeah,
audience
I
you're
know. I
talking
know what they
about.
want. I know what they.
Trust me. Just give me the body pillow I asked for, and I swear I'll get it. I swear I'll make it for you.
But yeah, okay. So that's my Twilight Princess take. Sorry Noah, if you're listening. I'll have you on the show when we talk about Resident Evil. Anyway, with Twilight Princess out of the way, let's talk about the next game, which is this was the game that came out like when we were actually the target audience, and that is Skyward Sword. When we were like actually the age that we should be playing Legend of Zelda games, and our like the console of our generation came out, the Wii. Skyward Sword came out. Do you remember like the hype around Skyward Sword? Because this is the first time that I remember when a game was coming out that I was excited for. So do you remember like how you felt about it before it came out?
Yeah, so I was actually kind of ecstatic for it because like I know people were like hating on the Wii for like motion controls. I get it. Like you either love or you hate it. But I had a Wii and I had been playing with a Wii forever. And like to know that a title for a Zelda game, after having played, Ocarina of Time and like being introduced to that stuff was coming like and actually being released on that system. I was like, hell yeah. Um, so it was like there was commercials on for it. I know that people they released specific versions of the game. They released specific Wii's to release this game.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
And they also had like remotes you could get with like the Triforce on it. But yeah, it was a huge deal. It was like they were really going for that, trying to sell it on the Wii, because it was like at that transition point where they were starting to develop other consoles, I think. So they were trying to push for that.
Yeah, they were starting to. They were kind of moving away from the Wii and we're starting with the 3DS stuff.
Yeah, which I'll say I had a DS Lite when I was a kid, and it was fine. Like it was just like the thing you did. Like you could connect other people, play some like multiplayer games. Like if you could connect to other Wii and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or I should say their other
their DS.
DS. Yeah. But it was mostly just like a side thing. At the end of the night, you're like you didn't want to turn on a console. Like I never got into the whole handheld thing. I never really did. I had a DS and maybe a DSi, but at that point I was like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I think the most I ever played on the DSs were probably some of the. I think it was Mario 64. That's what I really played on that.
Yeah, for the DS.
Yeah, for the DS. Yeah, pretty much. I never played it on the actual console itself. I went to like this '80s apartment, or not apartment, this '80s like
80s,
cabin.
The '80s apartment. The apartment in the '80s.
There was like this '80s cabin that we went to, and we went up to one of the Great Lakes, and it smelled like dank, but it was like straight out the '80s. They had VHS tapes on the walls. We made like homemade pizza and watched like Kung Pao on fucking VHS, dude.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Sounds like a good retreat.
Yeah, it was great, except for the fact the polar vortex had totally frozen the underside of the lake.
Oh.
So like all of the water was freezing.
Damn.
So I was like, you know what? Let's just retreat back to the Nintendo 64, and then ended up playing that for a little bit. But regardless, yeah, the hype around that was, I felt like it was pretty anticipated for.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of hype about it. That was sort of the age that I was like starting to understand lore and like plot structure. So I was really excited about like, oh, it's like a prequel to all the Legend of Zelda games, and that was when that fuck ass timeline came out. Where it's like, this is what happens when Link fails, and this is what happens when Link wins, and this is what happens when Link goes back in time.
Yeah,
it's convoluted as fuck. It's I don't know. I don't know that I'm equipped to tackle that right now. But that was like when that came out. So like I remember there was a bunch of hype for Skyward Sword, and then it came out and people were not happy with it.
Yeah, people hated it.
People did not like that game. And to my like, you know, to be honest with you, yeah, I was one of them. I was one of them that like the other thing is I never played the game. I didn't actually have the game.
Oh.
I was like
okay,
I was like a you know, I was a YouTube slopper at the time.
So you were getting all the slap and then just regurgitating the slap.
Yeah, well, so I watched. Yeah, this came out 2011. So this was that same time at which we had the Ocarina of Time night, or would have been around the same year. But yeah, I remember that like I'd watched a bunch of YouTube videos, you know, JonTron and Ego Raptor. I watched a lot of Game Grumps back then, and they were like, "This game sucks," and I didn't really have the ability to like critically think about the content that I was watching, so I was just kind of like, yeah, fuck Skyward Sword.
Yeah, it sucks.
But then I went to your house, and you know, before we were playing Ocarina of Time, I watched you play Skyward Sword, and I was like, this game actually is kind of kick-ass.
It's awesome.
You know, I don't necessarily know how to, like, describe how I feel about it at that time. Like, I didn't really know how to describe how I felt about it, but now I'm like, it kicks ass. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate that the control scheme is ass, and is still ass. I mean, I have the Switch version, and it's still ass. I fucking hate the controls. I still hate the controls. But I will 100% concede. Yeah. I will 100% concede that the game is cool. And it is like a worthy 3D Zelda title. It's just that the controls are bad.
Yeah. I mean, so kind of give you a little backstory on how I actually got the game. I'd seen everything. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of money. I didn't have money. I didn't have shit. So when we did get the Wii, you know, we got like Wii Sports Resort, we got, you know, Wii Sports, but like we didn't get games unless, you know, I was able to like pay my parents, be like, hey, I need this game. I'll do like 50 chores around the house and they'll give me like $5, right? Uh-huh. And so most of my experience was just like getting games by like doing chores or like doing a service. So I luckily went to one of my mom's friend's house, and they had the game. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit, dude. And so, you know, I guess they didn't have a whole lot of care or didn't want to, like, you know, deal with the fact that, you know, there was so many other games that they had. So like, yeah, if you want to borrow this game, you can have it. And that was actually where I got the game from. So I took it home, and it was like, dude, this is so cool. And I put that game in, and it was like straight out the gate. It's just, I had to learn all the motion controls and whatnot, but I don't know, man. I personally, maybe it's just a personal take, but I never had a problem with the motion controls. I actually liked it because it reminded me of like hitting stuff with sticks outside. Like, and it was me hitting the monsters with the motion controls.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the intention of the motion controls was not wasted on me, because like I was able to like actually do all of the sword movements. You know, you remember how we used to beat the fuck out of each other, you know, during birthday parties with like pool noodles and shit.
Yeah.
And get them all wet and just wham. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like that, but I was like, I kind of fuck with the motion controls. I kind of fuck with them. They're pretty good.
So that was like that's what everyone like wanted though. Everyone was like, oh, it's like I'm really holding the sword, but in practice, no. Like it's very good for you.
While,
good for you that you didn't have any problem with it. But when I no, no, it isn't.
After a while, you just get through the motions. Like you're just kind of like moving it slightly up, and he's doing the motions.
Yeah.
And you're like, the whole thing with the Wii is like it was marketed as like this active console, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing was you're supposed to be up and like doing the full motions and range of motions. But after a while, you're just kind of like, you know, jerking the controller this way or that way, sitting on the fucking couch. Yeah. And you're like, I
need this.
Yeah, all right, I gotta go over here. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it was. But I didn't give a fuck. I love the hell out of that game. I felt like the concepts were cool. I felt like the story was cool. There was enough to run around in. Like it wasn't like constricting you to, this way or that way. You had full range to go in any one of the provinces after you've unlocked them, which is super cool. The goddess cubes were some of
Yeah.
the were really cool too, because not only did you have to find them, but then it corresponded to a chest up in the sky, which you also have to find. So like geolocationally, you had to like understand where they're at. And the game, it was very generous in the way that like gave you instructions and shit. The only thing is like phi, fuck that.
Yeah. Oh
There's a
yeah.
reason why there's like I don't need like your robotic ass telling me about the thing I'm seeing with my own goddamn eyes. You just need to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like it's like
You need to shut the fuck up.
you need to shut the fuck up. Yeah, there's a 50% chance I'm gonna stick my foot up your ass.
But yeah. I don't know. I, I can recognize that Skyward Sword is good now. I've certainly developed as a critic to say like, no, it is good. It's just the controls are bad and can you really but I agree. There are a lot of really cool ideas. Girahim is freaky, but he's kind of cool, kind of based in a weird way.
Yeah. He's like the edginess that he's probably the only edgy character if I had to put it like on a character. He's like the only edgy character in the game.
It's
which
nice.
Works. It works for him.
It's nice that they did deliver, kind of. They at least they delivered in a way that I think is necessary. They delivered on making a prequel story by having that whole demise thing. Like the having a whole like, and this is why Ganondorf and Link and Zelda keep reincarnating is because Demise did this thing. And I think that's not necessarily a perfect solution, but it is a solution, and I'm happy with it. So
you know what I'm not happy with?
What?
Having to fight Demise, the freaking the thumb creature,
the imprisoned one or whatever.
Yeah, the imprisoned thumb creature every single goddamn time.
Yeah. Well, I played I play a lot of Hyrule Warriors, and you fight it about as many times in that game, if not more. So I can sympathize with that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They should have been like, it should have come back reincarnated as like something else. You know what I mean? Like it'd be cool if it was like a Dark Link reincarnated.
Yeah.
And you had to fight him down there or something. Like they could have changed it up every single time instead of just being like, well, now he's got more.
Now he's got more toes.
He's got more puss fingers. You gotta slap.
He's got more toes. Like, get those toes, boy.
Get them.
But okay, so then that leads us finally in history. I guess we could mention fucking Spirit Tracks and all that shit. I don't have anything to say about those games. Do you?
Yeah, I don't.
I never played them.
I saw a friend play that once on their like DS, and I was like, "What the hell? What the hell is even that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Zelda." I'm like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, that's a very common cycle in your life. That's not Zelda. I've seen people play Spirit Tracks. It looks fun. I would never play it, and that's all I have to say about it. It looks fine. I would watch a Let's Play of it maybe. I think I will say the Zelda and Link dynamic in that game is very cute. I will say that that's like the only timeline for Link that he doesn't get absolutely fucking demolished. He actually like still has a relationship with Zelda in that one. Because I mean, it's worth nothing that she's dead in that game, but whatever.
Pochi's dead.
Pochi's dead. Now we get to talk about the thing that everyone is gonna be pissed about. Everyone's gonna be so pissed, but you and I have the same opinion on this, and I think this is a safe place for us to fucking go ham.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild fucking sucks. And that is my genuine opinion.
Right.
I don't know. It's a little more nuanced than that. Obviously, Zelda. I mean, I think what we've both sort of, been unpacking all this time is that like Zelda is good. Zelda games are good. And there's something very fun about Zelda games. It's fun to explore. It's fun to fight monsters. It's fun to, save Zelda, whatever, right? I hate Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild does all of those things the worst. And I'm willing to back that up as long as you back it up with me, Spec.
Yeah. So what I'll say is, again, kind of co-opting your point here. What I view as a Zelda game is not necessarily what the new generation of people view as a Zelda game, right? And what I feel like is an evolution of the series may not align with what I subjectively think Zelda is as a game. And the concept of what a Zelda game is doesn't necessarily line up with the concept of what Breath of the Wild is, right? I like a nice open world. Like I get that. Like, I like Skyrim, right?
I love Skyrim.
I like Skyrim? Why do I like Skyrim? Skyrim's fucking awesome. It's the one game that I can go back to and I can just like find new shit all the time, right? And it fills me with joy. It genuinely fills me with joy to go to like a grotto that I forgot about, that I played through my first playthrough of and found by chance. And now I'm finding a bunch of fucking vampires, and now I'm one of them, and now everyone hates me, and then I get fucking blown off the mountain.
You walk into Rorikstead, walk into Rorikstead, everyone attacks you, and then Dragonlance. Skyrim is open world sandbox games became like the slop of the 2000s of the 2010s for a reason. It was fun. It's a fun thing to be able to go anywhere and do anything.
Right. And so I felt like, again, it's not on the same level as Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword, it feels contained, but it's not open world. You know what I mean? So it has a core, story. You're progressing through the story. You can go either which way, or you can just play through it as a linear progression, right? You can just say fuck off for like 3 years and not save Zelda from, all the shit that's going on. You could do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here's the difference between Skyward Sword and fucking Breath of the Wild, right? So the concept of it is, that the hero essentially gets really fucked up and the world ends. Yeah. Essentially. Hyrule is in ruins. Or I think it's still Hyrule, right? Do they retcon that?
No. It is Hyrule. It's It takes place because again, this fuck ass timeline that they made, I hate it. I don't think that's the real timeline, but it's the fuck ass timeline that they made where they are like, oops, we have to add a new game. I have an idea. Let's say that there was some event that merged all three split timelines to bring them together to Breath of the Wild timeline. So all of the timelines, Link failing, Link succeeding, and Link going back in time, all of them merge into one timeline where Hyrule gets fucked.
Yeah, right? And so I get that concept. I think it's kind of cool, but at the same time it doesn't like match up with like anything, because from what I understand, that game, it just puts you in this environment similar to how there's the old man. I'll go back to the NES. Here's the old man. He's gonna give you a stick, and then you go out and do whatever the fuck you got to do to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the concept. But it feels like just kind of playing through that game that you're not really doing anything. Like I don't feel the weight of what's going on at all in the game. It's just another task that I'm doing. Which it feels weird to me that game would feel like that, but I can't not feel like that when I play that game.
Yeah,
and so it almost doesn't have the character that I would hope to see. Like even in Skyward Sword, there's so much character, there's so much love, and just so much detail that was put in to that game that it kind of like. It exudes it. Like, it is definitively what it is. It's not like, oh, it's an open world.
Yeah, we're making an open world Legend of Zelda game.
Right.
It's funny that you mention, that you make the comparison to the first Legend of Zelda, because that's, like, that is what they were trying to recreate. They were like literally trying to make the first Legend of Zelda game in 3D.
Yeah.
And
And
I think, and I agree that like I don't think they did a very good job. I think where they failed is I don't know, it just, the thing that's appealing to me about the first Legend of Zelda game is that it's like empty, right? You get a sense of like, why is the world so empty?
yeah.
Like there's nothing. It's just like this wasteland, right? It's just like, it's like deserts everywhere. There's no sign of civilization anywhere. If anyone exists at all, they live in these fucking caves.
Right.
The only sign of like structure or sentient life is these dungeons, and who fucking knows how long these have been here, right? There's like that idea of like imagination, sort of, that you were talking about, that like your brain sort of fills in what this world looks like.
Right.
And then Breath of the Wild kind of, it just, there's so much stuff that they lose sight of what made that original concept so appealing. And it kind of like I said, it kind of fails at everything by trying to do everything. And I should mention, I should say this also, that like in terms of just games in general, Breath of the Wild is fine. I don't mean to say like Breath of the Wild is a bad game. What I mean to say is it's in terms of all of the Legend of Zelda games, I think it's the weakest, because it does all of the things that a Legend of Zelda game does the worst.
Yeah.
Like, it has some of the worst exploration, and again, I'm gonna get, yelled at in the comments. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? You're saying the exploration is bad? Dude, did you even fucking climb up a mountain? Like, you can literally climb up mountains and fucking hang glide down things. But that's not what I want to do in a Legend of Zelda game, Like, cool, yeah, that's awesome that you can climb up a fucking thing. But, like, I want to, go into dungeons. I want there to be stuff to do. It's not, like, the thing that makes Majora's Mask interesting is that those little pockets of quiet places are in a world where there is tons of stuff to do.
Yeah.
It sort of loses its specialness to me when there's, anywhere that you go is a quiet place, because that's just a way of saying there's fucking nothing to do there.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the dungeons, right? So there are dungeons. Like there's the
elephant and there's the bird.
Yeah, they've got the giant mechs.
Yeah,
the mechanizations. I forget what you call
them.
But then you've got the trials that you have to do in order to like get any of the special tools to like finish the game, right?
Right.
And I really, that's the thing that kind of turned me off, honestly, is the fact that not only is there, it just seems to be a lack of an imagination that's you're having to be put as an input, right? But it's a fucking puzzle room that's the same every time but slightly different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not a dungeon to me, bro. Like, yeah, I don't want to have to play the same mini game. It's like playing it's that gambling game in Ocarina of Time where the guy's like, "Here's a key."
Oh yeah, the
right
chest. Yeah, find the right chest.
I mean? It's like I there's mechanics. Sure, you have to activate the thing with the new power that you got from the previous one, and you can't do it unless you got the thing. I mean, you can do some like fucking cheat to get the shit, but like, okay, I broke the game. I mean, the game's all about. But like, okay, well, on the next thing, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like the whole game is just you fucking around, right? And
again, to no avail. Yeah.
Right. I started this whole interview, or at least this podcast, by saying like, I love the fact that I can just go outside and hit shit with sticks. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love that.
And now here's a game
my childhood
where all you do is go outside and hit sticks, and you're like, this shit's boring.
Yeah. And why is it boring? Is because I don't have a goal other than like fucking around.
Yeah.
Which makes, and there's no character to it, because at least in the original game, there was like these real trials, which I would say I would distill it down to the dungeons, right?
Yeah. Or I mean, even traversing the world in the original Zelda game was like difficult. Like just going from fucking screen to screen. I remember when I played it, I was like, I fucking hope that like when I go to this next screen over, there aren't fucking 18 Lionels just about to kill me.
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, don't go to that fucking castle because you'll get murked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but if you did, you could literally start the game and just go fucking beat, what's his face?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I felt like the entire premise was really cool, but the execution in terms of like what it's supposed to be is kind of, I don't know.
My oldest sister loves Breath of the Wild. That's her favorite Zelda game. Which is like, that's crazy coming from her because she's the one who introduced, like, she is the one who got me into. She has been the one in our house who purchased Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Like, she is the reason that those games existed in our household. For her to say that like Breath of the Wild is her favorite Zelda game was crazy to me, and I was like, well, I like. That's sort of that same thing I had with you, where I was like, maybe I should give it a chance then, Like, this is someone whose opinion I respect a lot. Let me play this game. And I played it, and I was like, this game is so boring. And it's tedious that, like, your weapons break, and I get, like, in the interview, fucking Miyamoto is like, oh, like, it's to make the world, like, more intentional or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's something along the lines of like, the reason that your weapons break is because you need to like be conscious of your stuff. Why? That's not why I play Legend of Zelda games. I play Legend of Zelda games to go on adventures, to fucking kill monsters, and to save the world, and to get a hot Zora girlfriend. Which, by the way, the Zoras in that game, all these gooners are like, oh, Mifa, oh, Sidon, they are fucking not as good as Princess Ruto. They are not as good as Princess Ruto, and I'll fucking die on that hill. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Anyway, the idea that, like, they were trying to make an open world game, but they were also trying to make it like a Zelda game, quote unquote. And those two things, like, really don't. The modern concept of an open world game just doesn't mesh well with what a Zelda game is, which is like that's kind of like almost an oxymoron, because like the first Legend of Zelda game I would describe as being open world. I mean, in the most literal sense, it is a world that is open to you from the beginning. You can literally start the game and go straight to fucking Dungeon 8 and get your ass killed because you're not gonna fucking survive. But you could do that if you wanted. Like, that's an open world game, but the modern definition of an open world game, where it's like, you gotta have this fucking huge rendered world, and you gotta be able to fucking see, like, every single tree, and every single tree has to be interactable, and, fucking all these procedurally generated, like, loot. And it's just like, that doesn't mesh well with Zelda, because Zelda games are they're supposed to feel like an adventure, Well,
I would describe it as, it feels intentional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels like a world that is intentional.
Yeah, because Breath of the Wild, it feels like a world that you have to, like, just fucking do shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I would describe it as, the imaginative aspects of what makes NES so good is not translated well, and you got to do chores. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like
slave tasks.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, if I got to do, my chores before I can beat Ganon, just so I got to do all this shit. You know what I mean? You might have the oddball encounter with somebody, in Civilization somewhere, but they're like, I need you to take this sheep, and I need you to find this, this thing. I need to
and your reward is $50 that you can only spend in this town. It's like, well, then why did I even do this?
Yeah, why? Like, what's the point?
In I don't know. In like Link to the Past, I use your examples because it'd be easy for me to like just be like, oh, Ocarina of Time is the best game ever. In Link to the Past, there are like random bullshit side things for you to do, but it never distracts from the final goal. Like, you can do all of the bullshit stuff that you can in your area, but the moment that you cannot do more bullshit stuff, you are like, all right, I have to fucking figure out what to do next. And then it kind of, in a way, it kind of becomes its own like adventure to like figure out what the fuck I'm even supposed to do next. You know, like
Right. Yeah.
you start talking to people that you might not have talked to because you're like, maybe this fucking random guy is gonna give me a clue, and then you talk to a
Yeah.
guy, and then he has like a funny interaction that you never imagined, you know.
Which which it is totally, it's totally different in Breath of the Wild. It's like, oh yeah, you see that castle over there? Yeah, shit's fucked.
Yeah,
You gotta
in
fight
Breath
that
of the
thing
Wild, in Breath of the Wild, it's like
Yeah.
you do all this bullshit stuff, and then your reward is to do more bullshit stuff. Like there's never a moment where you're stuck. Which some people see that and they're like, "That's I love that. I love that design philosophy because you know I'm the kind of person who like I don't want to be told where to go and what to do, and I would rather have a
Right.
game where I can do whatever I want." And that's not me. That's never been me. I fucking hate Minecraft. I think Minecraft is really boring. Um, for largely for the same reason. But my point is like it is an intentional design philosophy. What I just described of like when you do all this bullshit stuff, your reward is that you get to do more bullshit stuff. You might see a mountain and you're like, my goal for right now is to climb that mountain. And then you try to climb the mountain, you're like, oh fuck, I need warmer clothes, you know? So then
Right.
you go off and you fucking find warmer clothes and you climb up the mountain. You're like, that was my objective. I'm really happy that that was my objective. And
Right.
I get it. I'm not a Philistine, right? I get that, like, yeah, I see how that's appealing, but that's just not interesting to me. And I feel like that's like that kind of thing does exist in every other Zelda game. It's just not built around that exact. Like, I don't know, Ocarina of Time. You're like, you know, you see that heart piece on top of the volcano, right? In Death Mountain. You see that heart
Yeah.
piece on top of the thing, and you're like, how the fuck do I get that? Well, you go over there as an adult, and you're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to get that. Let me fucking go back in time and see if there's something else I can do here. The only way to get here as a kid is to use the Bolero of Fire. So you have to get to that point of the game. You use the Bolero of Fire. You go back in time. You're like, hey, there's a beanstalk here. I need beans to do this. So then you fucking go back to the bean guy. You get the bean thing. You go back to the place. You plant the beans. You go back as an adult. You climb up the thing. You get the heart piece. Or maybe you've discovered bomb jumping at this point, and you're like,
Yeah.
I want to fucking bomb jump over there. So you fucking use bomb jumping to get over there. You get the heart piece. You get the same outcome, but the adventure was doing this random bullshit thing. But after you get that heart piece, you're like, okay, I should probably get on with the game. The difference
Yeah.
is, in Breath of the Wild, you do that bullshit thing, and you're like, okay, what bullshit thing do I want to do next? And
Yeah, exactly.
like, I am just the kind of person that I run out of bullshit things to do, and I look to the game to be like, all right, game, what do you want me to do next? And the game is like, well, you can fucking kill these, you know, ancient beasts. You can fucking do 100 more trials, or you can just go straight to Ganon. And I'm like, well, like, what should I be doing next? And there's not really an answer to that ever, or at least not one that satisfies me. I don't know.
Well, I think you kind of come up on a really good point. I think it's for two different types of people, right? I think they're like your sister. I think your sister really enjoys that aspect of being like, no, I don't want to do what you want to do. I'm doing my own thing,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like, again, my outlet for that is not in Zelda. That's not my outlet for that. If I wanted to do that, I'd go play fucking Skyrim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would go play Skyrim where I can like I'd play fucking Daggerfall actually, and I would just go into some random dungeon, kill a couple bats, and then be like, okay, that was fun, and then be done with the day.
Right, because that bullshit, the bullshitism works for me in those
Yeah.
games. The whole point of having a Zelda title is like the intentional nature of the fact that you're the hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're not the hero of bullshit. You're the fucking hero of
I'm the hero
Hyrule.
of time. I'm the hero of
Yeah.
seasons. I'm the hero of fucking Link to the Past. What is Link's
Right,
title in that game?
I don't even know. Like,
I think he's also called the hero of time actually. Let me look that up.
yeah. Well,
What
it's-
is Link's title in Link to the Past? Hero of Legends is his name in that one. Yeah, I'm the fucking
Cop
Hero
out.
of Legends. I'm not
Cop
the hero
out.
of like bullshit.
Yeah, that's cop out, I think, man. Like, I don't know. Like, that's not, again, not intentional. Like, what fucking legend? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there is the hero of legend. That's
Well,
not the same thing.
That's actually an interesting like theory that I've sort of talked about with my wife, because I've been introducing my wife to I'm making her into a gamer girl slowly
Yeah.
but surely.
Just gotta make her wear the
Pokemon
the
and
hair.
she refuses to get a side bangs, unfortunately.
No.
But yeah, I was talking with her that like, cause she was like, who's like, I think just kind of jokingly, she was like, well, like, what legend is it? Whose legend is it? And I was like, I think that Legend of Zelda is like, could be interpreted, like all of these Zelda games could be interpreted as being something that happened in the past, and each game is like its own individual story. Like, you know how in a lot of mythology, like, Hercules appears a lot of times in like a lot of Greek myths, like even not in his specific stories, like in the fucking Odyssey, like Hercules is like, and I'm Hercules and I'm here. I think that's like a better way to interpret the timeline of Legend of Zelda. That like Hyrule is a place that exists, and this legend of this like ancient princess has all of these different like retellings and versions of it that all might have happened and might have like happened maybe in different parts of time, but the hero of legend is Link. And like at any given point in any Legend of Zelda game, you are experiencing a world in which the previous Legends of Zelda exist in that world.
Yeah.
So like Link is the hero of legend, and in Link to the Past, when they're like, you're the hero of legend, they're referring to this mythological figure who existed at some time in the past.
Yeah,
like every Zelda game is perpetually in front of and behind every other Zelda game.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I mean, realistically speaking, if you're gonna look at each game and how they're structured, right? Like Hyrule's not the same in any single game.
No, not even
right?
close.
Like literally the geology of where things are. There's no like land markings. Like there's nothing that's the same.
Yeah.
You're literally just like, oh, okay, this is what it is now. And so it really is kind of like a retelling and the repetition of like a derivative story, like you're saying, kind of this mythical place, that exists throughout time, but is just the retelling of something through different manner.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna say, there's a legend, the hero of legend, right? And there's people that exist in this city. There's this mythical place, Hyrule, and all of these things happen, and here's his journey. You know what I mean? He's not going to tell the same story. It's over time, people playing telephone are going to change the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I feel like Breath of the Wild is the telling of the story that just doesn't encompass the intention of what people had told the story before. It encompasses the objective that it seeks out to apply.
Yeah, it's
what I mean?
This is a story about Link like going on an adventure and killing Ganon. Like, yeah, that's what every story is, but this is the most like literal telling of a story about Link going and killing Ganon. Is like Link going out and fucking getting stuff to kill Ganon. It's like, that's not
exactly.
I don't know. I'm just way more motivated by a story that follows a plot structure. Call me old-fashioned. Call me a fucking boomer. But I prefer a story that actually has a plot. That goes for every game, That goes for every game.
It just doesn't develop naturally. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel natural when something happens. It's like, da-da-da. Like in Skyrim, it's like, da-da-da. You hear the
the combat.
You're like, oh
start.
my god, where's the enemy?
Yeah.
Like, where's the fucker that I'm about to meet? I don't even know yet.
That does kind of raise a good point though. That like I literally just thought of right now. That like maybe the idea is that like the bullshit stuff that you do is like that is kind of what is being told in the story, you know? Like that like if you think about Legend of Zelda as like the stuff that you do is a story that is being told in real time. Like every time that you fucking swing your sword, some old man is like, and then he swung his sword at this fucking tree. You know? If you think about it like that, I guess you can kind of see Breath of the Wild as like, yeah, it's a story that's like really intimately told about like every single thing that Link did to get to Ganon. Again, still not really what I want, still not really what I would prefer. If I was listening to this old man telling this story about Link and the time that he fucking... Like, if you think about, like, every save, like, you know, every, like, instance of time between saves, for example, as, like, chapters in the story that this old man is telling you.
Yeah.
I would maybe be like, hey, Grandpa, can we skip the part where he fucking makes mushroom stew again? I don't like that part. And he keeps doing it.
That's too damn bad.
Okay, so with that out of the way, I want to talk about some of the spin-off / lesser-known Zelda titles. I know we've kind of mentioned this a little bit at first, but you know, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, was kind of the original like Skyward Sword disappointment. You know? Like I watched a lot of AVGN in my days, and
sure.
I think it's a really good like perspective on like what gaming discourse was like back then, and he did not really like, and I'm led to assume that gaming discourse in general was not very fond of Legend of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. And it sounds like you're not either. So why don't you talk about that a little bit first?
So like I don't have a whole lot of experience playing the game, but the format in which it presents itself is not friendly. It's so like there's a brief moment in the original game where you're like climbing up some, like you go in the basement of some of these dungeons, and there's like this completely white bricked room, and you go up these stairs and you grab the thing, and it's kind of like this 2D weird effect. And you're like, what the fuck? What is going on right now? Like, why? I am not used to this orientation with this character. And I feel like they took that and they're like, you know what? Let's just take that experience and make it the entire game.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay.
And also, let's make it a platformer. And also, it's an RPG now, so you have to like learn magic and stuff.
Yeah, so like, you know, let's go through all that. And so it felt like fucking what's that shit ass game that I used to play as a kid? It's like Dragon Fighter.
Oh, Legend of the Dragon. Yeah, like the first Dragon game I reviewed on this channel. The first game I reviewed on this channle, the fucking Legend of the Dragon.
The game that just you can't finish. You get all these powers of like the super wave, and you're just defeating these fuckers. You know what I mean? You're just defeating these fuckers the entire time, and it's the same song. You know, I'm pretty sure there's different songs.
It's the same song every time. I got all the way to the last level, and it's the same song every single time.
Yeah, so like, I couldn't barely handle that. So when I started to like even try that game, I was like, oh, this is bad juju right here, bad memories. And you can die so easily. That's
you die from everything. There's no like invincibility frames. You get hit by a fucking guy, and you're just like, oh, I'm fucking dying. I'm taking 1 million damage.
And the bot, like the hitbox or something, like your reach is all fucked up, and it's like super floaty. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like the mechanics themselves is what like totally knocked it off the board for me. Like I couldn't deal with that. So I'm just like, nope. Hey man, this is not cool. They should go back to top down.
They should. I mean, and then they did, and then they literally never looked back. They said, we are never making this kind of game ever again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not making Mario Zelda. We're not making Zario. You know, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've never. I think I like emulated it once and played through it and was like, yeah, okay, this game's not very good.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what? Other speaking of like, so this is sort of the section where we talk about sort of spin-off or not very well received Zelda games. The CDI games. You mentioned YouTube poops earlier.
Oh, dude.
As you know, Spec, I am actually the #1 speedrunner for Legend of Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon.
Oh yeah.
I'm I'm the #1 speedrunner for that game. And you know what I realized? I think those games are better than people give them credit for. They're not good by any means, but they're definitely better than, like, you see all these YouTube, these YouTubers who they play this game and they're like, what the fuck were they thinking? You have to press the up button to jump? That's fucking stupid. And then, and then they're always like, the fucking animations are stupid. I think the animations are fucking hilarious, and I think they're really good also. Like, yeah. I think it's also worth noting, like, it's pretty good, the animations. For that time, and for that, like, the fact that they're hand-drawn, the fact that they're, like, very expressive, like, you remember
they use Microsoft. Yeah, you use Microsoft Paint really, really well when you're looking at that game.
They did. They really did, though. I mean, like, you can shit on it all you want. I think they're pretty good. The game, like, it's not a Zelda game by any stretch of the imagination. It's like, you don't really have the freedom or anything. But it's a game, and it's a game that, like, is, when you understand what you are supposed to do, is pretty straightforward and pretty, like, fun to traverse. I enjoy my my speedrun attempts where I try to beat my time, because I'm basically only playing that game against myself. I swear to God, you fucking listeners, if you fucking try to, like, beat my speedrun time, I will fucking kill you. But anyway.
You'll do it.
But yeah, so I think those games are pretty good. Let's see, what other Zelda? Hyrule Warriors is another spin-off. I love Hyrule Warriors. I hear people
I've never played it.
Kind of talk shit about it. But I love it. I think, honestly, it has one of the, like, most fun Zelda stories. Like, it's just really fun. I'm a sucker for, like, stories about characters from other universes interacting. I'm kind of a big fan of, like, crossover fiction.
Yeah.
And I love Hyrule Warriors. I think Hyrule Warriors is fucking kick-ass. Basically, the story of Hyrule Warriors is, like, there are these two deities who represent time, which is, like, first of all, you just kind of have to accept that, like, in Legend of Zelda, there are a million different deities, and none of them have any, like, continuity at all. Like,
no, yeah.
Even as far back as, like, Ocarina of Time, they're like, oh, here are the three goddesses, Din, Farore, and Nayru, and then they're like, and also Hylia is one of them, and she's actually the one that made the world in Skyward Sword. She's actually the person that made the world.
And then they were like, again, unless.
And then they were like, actually, Hylia is just, like, one deity. She's actually a piece of a bigger deity, not Din, Farore, or Nayru. And also, Din, Farore, and Nayru are just regular people now. It's like, I don't know. But anyway, there are these two deities, these, like, time deities, and they witness Link in all of these different timelines, and, like, they fall in love with him, and they, like, split, though. They split because they're like, one of them is like, we gotta have him, and the other person's like, no, we should protect him, and they split into Sia and Lana, and then Sia, like, breaks all of the timelines to, like, collect all of the links, basically, to, like, kidnap them.
She's like a real Link Gooner.
She is. I know. She literally, that is actually her character. She's like, she's the Link Gooner, exactly. I mean, I'm describing it like silly, but it's like, it's fun that it's like, it's this world where you see Link interact with all of these different characters from the different games, Link
Right.
is meeting with fucking Darunia and Princess Ruto in Ocarina of Time, and Midna and Zant in Twilight Princess, and fucking King Daphnis and Tetra from Wind Waker. So it's like it's cool. I think it's cool. People kind of don't like it because one, it's just like the gameplay of that game is just like you fucking mow down hundreds of worthless creatures.
So it's like climb the tower, fight more bugs.
Yeah, it really is just like climb the tower, fight more bugs. There's just like waves and waves and waves of these just like worthless creatures that you just fucking kill instantly. It's like they don't pose any challenge to you. It's not really a game that you play for like, you know, to get good. It's just kind of a game that you play in the background. I think my like Ocarina of Time randomizer gameplay footage that you were seeing at the beginning, it crashed and I don't know what happened to it, and my controller doesn't work anymore. So I need to get a new one. But I think I'm gonna swap it out for Hyrule Warriors gameplay, just to demonstrate my point of like just waves of these worthless creatures getting killed.
Hello, honey, I'm home. I'm gonna slay worthless creatures.
Yeah,
commit genocide.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Today I will go outside and kill 2,000 Bokoblins. And I will feel no remorse about this.
No remorse.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It's a fun game. I think people. I don't know. I don't know why people don't like that game. Some people just don't like that it's like anime. But like,
yeah.
fucking. I don't know. Grow up. You know, you're talking about like Legend of Zelda. That game is heavily inspired by anime.
Yeah.
So like,
you can't escape Japan.
You can't escape Japan.
Eventually.
It's all Japan.
And it's gonna happen eventually.
It's all Japan. So I mentioned the mangas. Did you know about these mangas?
I've seen bits and pieces about them. I've never read them or dedicated time to like read them.
The only one that I've read all the way through is the Link to the Past one. Ironically,
no,
I read all the way through the Link to the Past manga, and that's like the only way that I know what happens in that game. Because even though I've played it with you, we played, listeners, we played a randomizer together, like a linked randomizer.
Oh yeah.
And,
that Super Metroid, was it the Super Metroid one?
I think I guess it was.
Yeah,
but,
it had to have been.
Yeah, we beat it, but I really did not know what I was doing like for most of the time. Most of the time, Spec had to be like, "All right, now go talk to this guy, and go do this thing," and then it's like the added difficulty of it being a randomizer. Where like
so everything's all fucked up.
I'll go into I'll go do a whole dungeon to like get the item, and then I'll open it. It's like, all right, $20.
Yeah.
And you're still missing the ice rod, so I don't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a fun time. But yeah, the mangas are cool. They provide some cool like insight into the world. They sometimes add some context for like random fucking things that you do in the game, like
some nuance.
Yeah, well, in the manga, there's this whole thing about Link being a rabbit. You know, like in the game, you're just a rabbit, and you're just like, I gotta fucking go around as a rabbit. In the manga, there's like a whole section of the fucking story, like a whole chapter of the manga, where Link is just like trying to figure out what the fuck to do as a rabbit.
Yeah,
which is that's interesting.
Well, it's actually pretty cool because in that game, unless you have the Moon Pearl, which you get from a dungeon, you can't like escape being turned into a rabbit when you go to the Dark World, and you're defenseless. So the whole concept is you are stripped of your weapons, and you're basically stripped of everything, and you become just like a creature on the other side. And you meet other creatures that have been tainted by the Dark World's corruption, and it's kind of a really cool concept because people that like get ported to the other side just get instantly transported and then just like become the creatures.
I'm a creature now.
I'm a creature, man. That's just what I am. But yeah, no, that's a super cool concept. I'm glad they touched upon that in the way they did.
So this is also I guess while we're on the topic of like external, like we're really branching out from that. What are a theory that I've had that I guess I want you to weigh in on. What do you think the relationship between the Twilight is? Like, what do you think the fucking Twilight even is in Twilight Princess? Because there are like 4 different like dark zones in Legend of Zelda. Do you think that all of them are related, or do you think that they're all just like separate dark zones? Because there's like the fucking Dark World, there's the like Evil Sanctum, there's the Twilight, and then there's the fucking Flip Zone from Link Between Worlds.
So here's what I'll say on that. I think the Dark World, the Sacred Realm, again, in the lore, I'm pretty sure that the Dark World exists because it's been corrupted by Ganon. And it's actually the sealed realm. So that's where the Triforce actually resides. And so after Link defeats Ganon and obtains the Triforce, he like restores the Sacred Realm to its former glory. So with that being the case, I would say that's its entire, like in its entirety, that's its own realm and not in its normal form. So with those other realms that you're speaking of, like the Twilight, I almost see that as like another dimensional gateway that is opened up. It's kind of like the Phantom Zone from Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say that isn't like a corrupted, that's not the same situation. That is a dimension that exists within the confines of the, Zelda universe, right? And it can be accessed by whatever technology that they had at the time, right? And so that was purely by the nature of the world that they were able to like delve into these dimensional spaces, right? And I think they're just kind of these places you can access if you have the technology to access them,
right? Or magic, I guess. In this case.
And I mean, if you could call magic tech, you know what I mean? Either way. But I would say that no, I would not say that the same thing. I would say that they are different, like dimensional places that exist on another plane of existence.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I hesitate very greatly to call it like fan fiction because I never like wrote it. It was all just kind of I played this imaginary game with my sister, like that was in the Majora's Mask universe vaguely. It was like anything that we didn't really know or agree upon in actual Legend of Zelda lore. We just kind of made up and just ran with that, which I think that's a cool property of Legend of Zelda, that like so much of it is kind of left to mystery that you can get away with that kind of thing. Right. But in that, I remember that like a really cool idea I had for like how these dark worlds are connected is like that the Twilight is like is not a complete dimension, I guess. Like the Dark World is like a one-to-one mirror of the light world, let's call it. If the overworld, we call that the light world. Twilight is like a pocket dimension of something else. It's like some otherworldly entity, some otherworldly deity, maybe some lesser deity. That's like their domain, right?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
If you want to go a little further into this world, just talking complete headcanon at this point, that's Majora. I'm strongly of the opinion that Majora is the thing that created the Twilight, because.
So okay, yeah, you just explain that a little bit.
Because we don't know much about, and this is like a theory that you'll see a lot on YouTube, and this is kind of where that idea started. But I have a little more like circumstantial evidence to support this. But basically, the idea is like in the Twilight Princess, they talk about these people called the Dark Interlopers. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what the fuck they expect that to mean. But it's just like they're represented by like these dark links. That's like the only time that you see Dark Link, because you see Link but completely dark and with red eyes. And they talk about how these dark interlopers were in the service of some dark entity, some evil entity, and they did all this evil across the world. They exist like contrary to the forces of light. And one of the things that they did was they made the fused shadow, which is the sort of the MacGuffin that you need in the first half of Twilight Princess. It's the thing that Midna uses to fucking break the Twilight seal on Hyrule.
Okay.
It's this. If you on Google right now, look up what the fused shadow looks like. If you go on Google and look up Twilight Princess fused shadow, you will notice a very peculiar property of it. Doesn't it kind of bear a striking resemblance, wouldn't you say, to a mask of some sort?
Yeah, it does.
So
I never noticed that.
The story of Majora's Mask in the game, and I make this distinction because it's different in the manga, but in the game, the Majora's Mask, the way that it's described is there were some people who did all this evil stuff, and they created this mask in the image of an evil entity. Because we know that the properties of masks in this way are like you put them on and you take on the form of whatever it was that the mask was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they made this mask that harnesses the power of this evil entity. This entity, which bears a striking resemblance to this fused shadow that the Dark Interlopers made. Wouldn't it, again, completely headcanon, all of you in the comments fucking calm down, alright? This is all headcanon that I'm talking about. Wouldn't it make sense that these evil people would try to, in a fashion of hubris, try to contain their own deity in the form of one of these masks?
I would think so. Yeah.
This fused shadow clearly has some innate property of affecting Twilight. This mask, this Majora's Mask, would then be the sort of the biggest form of this mask. The deity itself, which created the plane of existence from which these dark interlopers came.
So that's an interesting thought. So you think just gotta put in like more simple terms for my walnut to wrap my head around it. So let's take Majora's Mask for example. That was imbued with, let's just say, the energy or the ability to call back to this dimensional space where this evil exists. Right?
Yeah.
And so that Majora's Mask acts as a tool, and it isn't necessarily the function of that specific deity to exist.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah, the mask itself is not Majora, but it's how you would channel. In the same way that in Majora's Mask, you get the Fierce Deity mask. And also, I'll finish your thing, but I have a thing to add on like why the Fierce Deity is, in this headcanon, why the Fierce Deity would be the thing that beats Majora. But finish your thought.
Right. So you're saying that the fused shadow, which is essentially like this mask that bears similarities to Majora's Mask, is of the same. It has the same properties to channel the same energy.
Right.
In a certain way.
Except that it was the fused shadow is a lesser form because it doesn't channel Majora herself. It channels the Twilight. It channels the plane of Twilight.
The environment in which Majora exists.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
What's interesting then? So if we keep following down this thought process of like Majora created the Twilight as like just a place of darkness, right? Not necessarily evil, I should mention. Because it's not like Majora is Demise. Demise is like evil incarnate. That's like canon to Legend of Zelda. All evil originates from Demise. Majora is not demise in the sense that Majora wants to destroy everything. Majora has only been interested in destroying light, but creates this place of twilight in which the properties of light and dark are swapped. And in Majora's Mask, you see that Majora, you know, when we talk to the mask itself, the thing that the mask says, the thing that the mask talks about, is this sense of like loneliness and isolation. This idea that
Right.
like, you know, am I valuable even though I don't have friends, and why doesn't anyone like me? Sort of echoing this idea that like when the universe of Legend of Zelda got created, light was the thing that Hylia favored or something, right? The idea
Right.
that like, you know, she's the goddess of light, and the three shining goddesses, Din, Farora, and Nairu, all kind of represent like this shining entity. You get left out this Majora, this fourth sister, if you will, of if we think of Din, Farora, and Nairu as like the three entities that created everything, there's a fourth one that creates darkness, because darkness wasn't really created.
Right.
So you get Majora, this fourth piece. There's a deity, the thing that beats Majora, when Majora's like, do you want to play good guys and bad guys? Here's the mask. It's called the Fierce Deity, and it bears a striking resemblance to Link. The mask itself, like before, obviously like when Link puts it on, Link looks like Link. But the mask
Right.
itself, before Link even puts it on, bears a striking resemblance to Link. I would then posit to say that Link, as in the hero of legend, has always existed. The idea, like, this warrior of the goddess Hylia has always existed, and just reincarnates as Link. And
Well,
way
that's-
back in time, like to, you know, when Majora first existed, Majora got beaten back into the Twilight realm by this hero. Anyway, that's all headcanon. I'm sure everyone in the comments, all the audience, is fucking pissed at me for even bringing it up, because they hate when I talk about headcanon. But hey, at least this time I'm saying outright that it is headcanon. That's just a fun little side tangent I had on my notes that I wanted to bring up. Anyway, we're finally gonna get to the part that you've all been waiting for. It's time for the Coomer Corner. This time I even have like an actual I actually have like a tier list to show you guys, so we can do that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm recording now. All right, welcome everybody to. Oh, I'm not actually sharing my screen. Welcome everybody to the best girl in Legend of Zelda, Zelda not included tier list maker. Best girl in Legend of Zelda, but not including Zelda, because then it would just be a tier dedicated to Zelda. Anyway, so here we are, and you know, we're gonna go down this. We can change the things if we want, but basically, I've collected a list of the girl characters who, for the most part, I believe are legal.
For the most part.
If there's disagreement on that, I'm happy to make a go to jail section. This will be the D, and this will be go to jail. But I don't think we'll need this. And yeah, so I've collected. I tried to get the widest swath that I could, but also like some of these, like, I wasn't gonna include every single just random like NPC in like Link to the Past, because there's a ton of them. So like, I don't know. Anyway, these are the woman from Link to the Past, red and blue. Where's these go, huh?
This is in the village, right?
Yeah, these are the random villagers in Kakariko.
So like there's ones that will like treat you like shit, like so for real. So like you go into town and you're swinging your sword around. And they're like, "Fuck you, get out of my town!" And actually, that person that's like, "Fuck you, get out of my town," is on here, I think.
Which one is it? The red or the blue one?
It's I think it might be the blue one, man. I think it might be the blue one.
You're going to
D tier.
D tier. I don't know. Just for averages, do you want to put this at B?
Let's put it on C. I mean, they didn't treat you right, but they didn't treat you wrong.
They don't treat you right. Oh, I guess we should have started way at the beginning. I wanted to put these chronologically, but that didn't happen.
Gotcha.
So here's the girls from Link to the Legend of Zelda 2.
Okay.
The girl that's like, come into my house and I'll heal you.
Which, I put it like C.
Yeah,
I would say C.
I'll put it C, and then this is the one that heals you though. So just for the the funny dorkly comic where they're like, oh, they get fucked.
Yo, you need to be healed.
Yeah, so we can put that one there. We'll put this one just as a nice average at B. I don't even remember seeing this character, but this was in the list.
I mean, yeah.
I pulled up a list of every single character and I went through the whole thing. So that's that. All right. Link to the Past. What's next? Link's Awakening. No, Link's Awakening is after Ocarina of Time. I think Ocarina of Time is next. So let's. These are fucking tiny. I cannot even see. I'm gonna have to in post make these bigger when we're talking about them. I guess let's talk about. Oh yeah, these are different characters. Okay. I guess. Well, we already know. Listen, we already know. I'm gonna do this. We gotta put. We gotta. Yeah, we got. we gotta do.
I mean, I'm not. I'll say this. I'm not a scaly, but I know that Kiwi's got the hard on for some of that fish. So.
Well, this one in particular, for sure. All right. So then, Bombchu Lady. Remember this lady?
Oh yeah.
Also has other functions, I guess.
I'd say B. I'd say B. I would.
You would. I wouldn't hit her, but
assuming we're not going to jail for it.
This is one that I'm like, I looked up and I'm like, I'm gonna assume this is an adult because it doesn't seem there's anyone else running this place.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna assume that. Chicken Lady.
I mean, she's kind of sweet. She's kind of sweet, but what? Again,
why is she running chickens? Why are you running chickens
if you're allergic to chickens?
You're deathly allergic to chickens. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
I'd say, yeah.
I'll put her in C.
That's up to you.
I'll put her in C. Gerudo Naburu, I guess, is the representative of all of them. Even though I think there is another one that I didn't include on this list. Anyway, Naburu, what do you think?
Well, I mean, aren't they all gay? So
what?
What?
What did you just say to me?
Aren't they all gay?
No, they're not all gay. What are you talking about?
Except for their whole society's women, though, right?
Yeah, they go out and they fucking steal men for the purpose of reproduction.
Okay, so they're not all gay.
They're not all gay. None of them are gay. What are you talking about?
Well, there you go. All right, so we can.
That doesn't answer my question. Where do you think this should go? I would say this probably. I'd probably put her in A. But where do you think?
Okay, all right. I mean, why would you put her in A? What's the feel?
Because she's. Well, I mean, I would, and also, she is. Ganon wants her, so she's got to be some valuable. And she's one of the sages,
gotta be something in there.
She hits all the boxes. She hits all the boxes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I think this is where. Okay. So every other Gerudo we can put in B, right? On account of them being gay.
I would
apparently.
say I legit for real. I legit thought the whole society was they just had if they have to procreate. they're like, okay, but I'm not gonna like it.
Well,
You know
no,
what I mean?
they just, I don't know what their fucking deal is, but it's not that.
That's what I thought.
All right. What's that? Great Fairies. Now this is probably controversial, but I'm saying S for this. But what do you think?
S tier.
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean,
are you weirded out by them? I'm into it. I'm like fully into it.
I mean, I feel like you go full bore if you got a magic fairy, and then what else she can do? What's she gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, like what's she gonna do? Like, she can heal you, but that's like the literal least extent of what she's capable of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hell yeah, hell
so
yeah.
you're in agreement with me on this? Some people,
absolutely.
Some people really balk at me when I say this, but I'm like, you know.
Yeah, I kind of into that.
Yeah.
I do it. Yeah.
And like the like fucking the way over the top makeup and the fucking Vine leggings, I'm into it.
Dude, like mythical ancient like fairy that like heals you. Like how much? What do you want?
Yeah.
If you don't want that, what do you want?
What more could you want? What more do you kids want? Okay.
What more could you want?
Okay. Impa. Ocarina of Time Impa specifically, because this is. See, you put her in C. What's this for?
I don't know. She's just like she's kind of. I mean, her whole character is being a bitch to you, so gonna be that.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'm not like she's not affectionate towards you. Like,
no,
she's very.
Yeah, you're right. She's.
You know what I mean? Like,
we live vicariously through Link, and
Yeah.
She really has no interest in Link, so like, that definitely has a big. That's definitely gonna color our opinion on all of these. Is like, how do they feel about Link? Because that's who we are vicariously.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I would say
okay.
definitely C.
Okay.
C.
I'd say C. And that's Link. All right, that's Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask. Anju. This is a different character, even though they're the exact same character model. Listen, Anju. I'm definitely saying like higher than C for sure. It's a little awkward that she's married to a guy. But we could kind of overlook that for now, I guess.
In the context of this list. In the context of the game, is it weird, or is the context of just being?
No, the context. I mean, listen, audience. All this is weird. What we're talking about here. This is the part of the video that you can just end, and no one's gonna. This is the Coomer corner. I'm gonna say I give her an A. She's sweet. She's like a nice person. Her story is really cool. I'm giving her an A.
There we go.
And then next is Crema, I think her name is. She's basically Malin. I don't know why Malin isn't on this list. I guess because when I looked up the list on Wiki, it only showed the female one. Oh, not the female one. The child one.
Oh yeah, that would have been going to jail for sure.
Yes, I was like, I don't want to include that. Crema's an adult though. I give Crema an S.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say Crema gets an S.
Motherfuckers already know
bitch.
from the game.
Yeah, bad bitch. Fucking fought off the Gorman brothers. Bad bitch. A certified
Hell
bad
yeah.
bitch.
Gives you that hug. Do you remember that hug at the
yeah,
end?
she gives you the hug at the end if you already got the heart
man.
piece.
Hell yeah.
This is the bootleg Gerudo. I give her a D. I don't know why I would include her on this list.
Hey, we got a good spread of like Gerudo in there.
Yeah. All right, Lola or Lulu, what's her name? I don't even fucking remember her name. This is why I say like I'm not just blind, guys. I'm not just a mindless gooner, right? This is the difference between gooners and coomers, all right? I'm not a gooner who's like I will fuck any fish. I think she gets a C, and that's being generous. Really, she should get this. Because she is just like, I don't like her. She has no personality. But Kiwi, her fucking husband died, and she's sad about that. Okay.
And?
Okay, then fucking cancel the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's not my problem. But Kiwi, she lost all of her children. Okay. Again, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. I'm sorry.
You can't force me.
You can't force me to care about this lady. I don't know. That makes me like a callous asshole, but like I just can't be like.
It's just genuinely how I feel, man.
Yeah,
You can't.
yeah,
I got a preference right now, huh?
yeah. All right. I think. Oh, I guess. What's this? Who is this character? This is
Zelda
another character.
from.
No, this isn't Zelda.
Is that Zelda? Is it?
Who is this character?
You sure it's not Zelda?
Let me look up.
Wait.
Let me look up. Let me pull up the list of images because I named all of them in the images. Where? Who the fuck? Where is it? Tier list.
It's either that or that's the cat demon.
Oh, it's one of the sages. It's one of the maidens.
Oh, really?
In Link to the Past. What do you put these? These are the sages. I guess because they all have the exact same character sprite that I was like they should all just go in the same category.
Yeah, I'd say like B.
Probably B.
B for sure.
Okay.
Just because like you save them, they're like, oh well, Princess is another castle.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
The end.
The end.
All right. So next is I guess Oracle. I guess Link's Awakening would be next, right? All right. This is Marin from Link's Awakening. I put her in A. I think she. Well, I put her in A. I'm gonna put her in A, and I'm gonna assert. Let me look up something real quick. How old is Marin in Link's Awakening? All right. Turns out. Go to jail.
Go to jail.
Turns out go
Straight
to jail.
Straight to jail.
You go to jail. Sorry. I don't make the rules. Except I do. I'm going to say, though, that the mermaid lady, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
right?
fish, check the boxes.
Check the boxes.
Got
Tracy, Tracy, I'm going to put in A. I don't know anything about these characters. I'll put her in B, actually. I don't know anything about these characters, but, sounds like a good character. Which one? Wind Waker is next. All right, Wind Waker. Well, I didn't include Medley because she is 14 years old. So I didn't include Medley because that's obviously like you go to jail for even including that. But I think the only options for that are these three: Larudo, and the Butterfly Lady, and the Fairy. This looks like a child. I'm gonna put that in go to jail actually. And Larudo, D, and this lady also D. This is why Wind Waker didn't do very well. Is because all the Gooners were like
all D characters.
Oh, they were bad. Okay. So next we talk about Oracle of Seasons, I guess. So you got Din, Faror, and Nairu. This is what I mean when they were like, actually, these are just regular people. Turns out these are just regular people.
Yeah, literally women. Literally women.
So anyway, Din, I'm gonna have to put in A. I know you can't see these spec, but like, let me.
I can see it.
Like, pull up Google image search Din real quick, and then tell me that she does not get at least A. Right.
I'm not a robot.
I'm not a robot. Stop asking me that. Right?
God dang.
You're like, okay, yeah, that's A for sure. This is Oracle of Seasons and fucking whatever. I guess there's more. The Fairy from that game. She's cute. I'd give her probably also an A. Probably above Din, for sure.
I mean, does cute does cute equal A for you?
I don't know.
Or
I
cute
mean,
equal B?
it depends. You know, it kind of depends for me. Okay.
I mean,
We'll
you're putting
put
that
her.
you're putting that as you're putting the same level as
Yeah.
game, which is like
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
where
Okay.
like the fairy's like oh cute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. That's a
Yeah.
good metric, I guess. All right. So then Nairu, I guess, would also go there.
Yeah, on
'Cause,
the
you know,
cute factor.
she's kind of cute. Furore, I guess, also put there. I don't know why the fuck on the wiki it has the actual like images for these characters, and then Furore. Oh, okay. Yeah, here's the image of this character. I'm gonna pull this up. This is the image of this character. Anyway,
Okay, I mean,
I stand by B though, or maybe C.
yeah, that's that.
I'm putting her in C. This lady, the queen, I don't know who the fuck. This character must be from Ages, because I only played Seasons, and I do not know who the fuck this woman is.
D.
She's Queen Ambi. Queen Ambi. Queen Ambi is a Labyrinthine queen from the distant past. Yeah, so this is from Ages. And then Varen. Oracle of Ages, Varen. Varen. Oracle of Ages. Yeah, I probably would.
That's a goth GF right there.
Yeah, I probably would. And she turns into a spider. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I probably would. And then you get Amber. You got Mabel. Maple. What's this fucking bitch's name? Maple. Maple.
That sounds.
Oracle of
That
Ages.
sounds like a.
Well.
Check the age on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to run this back actually. How old is Maple in Oracle of Ages? Her age is not explicitly stated. She's described as being a teenager. Just to be safe.
Okay, all right.
To be
yeah,
safe, we're gonna put her in go to
to
jail,
stay.
because teenager that is a wider range of go to jail than it is not.
Yeah, I think the benefits way out. Yeah, there is no benefit there.
Yeah, there's no benefit there.
There is no benefit there.
What is this game? What? Oh, this is Minish Cap. Minish Cap is after Wind Waker, I guess. So, Minish Cap, I mean, it's the same. It's the same. I don't know why I included these. These are the same characters.
There you go.
And I guess this is Anju, but in Minish Cap form. This is Wind Waker graphics Anju, so I'm gonna put her there. Oh, here's the fairy, though. This is what the fairy looks like in that game. Minish Cap Fairy Queen. This is what she looks like. You cannot fucking see this. This shit is this shit is the most broken pixels I've ever seen in my life.
Yep, Raster man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I can even fairly judge this.
I don't even think it's something you can like actually have a relationship with. It's
Yeah,
this
shit is all right.
You know,
sorry about that. Twilight Princess time. All right, we got to get this right out of the way first, because this demonstrates what the fuck I was talking about. All right. What the fuck is this?
What the hell?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Spec?
That's horny content.
You want to tell me what this is?
Ooh. You know, if you're playing that game, you're running through, you're like, oh man, I'm just ready to, I will get hurt just to come back to this place.
Yeah, and this is a fucking secret dungeon. This is your reward for doing a secret dungeon is this. All right? I'm a man of culture. D tier. Put those away. All right. Also, let's talk about the Zoras for a second. Ugh. You're getting to D tier as well. Fuck out of here. All right, this is Isla. This is Isla, and real quick, let me do this real quick. I don't know why. Listen, the ages aren't put on the wiki. I'm not putting them on here because I'm like I want to know. I'm putting on here because I'm like this is for the sake of propriety. We gotta talk about it. Isla. Age.
Yeah, no, I respect that. We have to. You don't want to be like caught
16
in 4K,
years old. I mean? You are in jail.
Jail.
You are in jail if you put this any higher than this tier. All right. And you're going to jail. Okay. So then, Ashay. Okay. Yeah, I probably would.
Hey.
What's up? Oh,
Probably
put her in
A.
A? Put her in A? Okay.
Yeah, put it
There we go.
There we go.
Then you got the henna Twilight Prince. Do not show me. Okay, thank you. All right, yeah, this is her. Yeah, okay.
Make cute B.
Yeah, I put her. Yeah, okay, I put her in B.
Well, yeah, cute B right there.
Midna, imp form, specifically.
I mean, you're either into it or you're not.
Right. Listen, I'm willing to not put this and go to jail because she is not a child. Right? Like, she's like a small imp.
No, that's established.
She's an imp. That's like what she is that she's a little imp.
Right. That's established. I don't know if I'm into imping. You know what I mean?
I'm imping it. Me personally, I'm not really into like the degradation aspect. The relationship that she has with Link is she just kind of fucking negs him the entire time, which I'm not into personally. I'd cry.
You're hurting me.
So, to me, I would probably put this in C. But I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that because this is like what all the gooners goon to. This is the gooner.
Hey, no. You can't just
bend the knee to
Coomer,
gooners.
Dude.
I can't bend the knees to Coomers. I'm gonna put this in
put
C.
it where it goes.
Because that's where she belongs. That's where she belongs.
There you go. That's a true Coomer statement.
Yeah. All right. I'm a man of culture. Iza from Twilight Princess. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. S rank. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
I mean, you're putting that up against like a literal fairy goddess. So I'm gonna put that at A.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna argue though that like right behind Din.
Okay, that's fair.
We can organize these by like later, but.
Yeah.
I'm gonna argue that that's where she goes. What's next? Telma. All right, Spec. What is this?
She's at.
What is this?
Yeah.
Huh? You want to tell me about this?
This goes on the indecency list for you.
What is this?
Look
What is this
at that.
character? There was no character like this in any other Legend of Zelda game. They were just like, we gotta put the fucking tits in this game.
Yeah, we have to. There's no negotiation here.
But listen, like, I'm willing to put her in like high B, low A.
Yeah,
I'll put her in high B. And then Yuli. The mom.
Okay.
What's up?
I looked at the bottom picture here and I was like, are you sure about that?
No, that's a child. You fuck.
That's what I'm saying. No,
I'm saying
you should go to jail with that.
No. This is an adult woman. All right. Now don't look at the tags. Don't look at the tags. With it like. Pranked. Don't look at that. That's not what I'm including her for. I'm including her because she's a good person, all right? I want to put her in B. All right. What else? Oh yeah, okay. Twilight Midna, like humanoid form Midna.
So we're not imping out anymore.
No, this is the real character. This is her true form. Yes. Yes. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I don't want to, be the voice of all this, but I would,
definitely.
I would turn off. I'd turn off the lights.
That's S tier right there.
Yeah, I'd turn off the lights. Okay. Next would be Skyward Sword, I guess. All right, Kina. This is the pumpkin lady, right?
Did you see the tag that came up?
No. No, don't look at that.
That isn't it.
Yeah, this is the pumpkin. This is the lady that they're like, you have to marry her now, right? When Link like destroys the entire fucking place, the dad is like, you have to marry her now. Isn't that what happens?
How that goes.
Isn't that what happens?
That's how that goes. I don't.
What happens? I feel like there's some interaction because when I was playing it on stream, you were like,
I feel like so. You break everything, right? And I don't recall that being the case where you have to marry her, but I may be wrong.
I mean, I cannot speak to this. I just remember that this is a character that Link is forced to interact with for something.
Well, what I'll say is, I'll probably C too.
You put her in C?
I'll put her C.
You gotta put her high C. She's all right. She's got to be better than fucking Chicken Lady.
You interact with her once. Like, what can I say?
You don't interact. She has a whole side quest. She has a whole thing where you gotta like play the harp with her.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, you're playing music with some person. I don't know. I just don't have any like. I don't have any.
Yeah, I guess you are the definitive on that. I just thought you'd have more to say about her. All right, Oriel from Skyward Sword. This woman.
I mean, she's
I don't
cute,
remember any. I don't know anything about this. So I was hoping you would have more to say about
her husband's a pirate, so.
Oh, her husband's a pirate?
Well, like pirate-looking ass. Look up Oriel's husband.
Oriel's husband.
Where's the guy?
This guy?
Oh, no, I'm thinking of somebody else. There's the guy that stands on like the tower on the left of where that guy's standing. There's like this pirate dude.
Okay. Well, where did she go?
I'd say like B tier.
Okay, B tier. Next is Beatrice.
She is the simp. She is simping for Link the entire time.
She's 18. Hey, she's all right. She's on the list. Listen. All right. Hear me out. All right, fine. Where does she go? Where do you think she goes?
I would say B for sure, because that's
we'll settle on high.
Well, you could create an entire thing called Simp and put her in that, because that's you're supposed to be dating Zelda for all like.
Oh yeah, in Skyward Sword, like that is the canon one. That is the canon ending.
Your interest is in Zelda, but you can like have this side relationship with like Beatrice.
Isn't this the bitch that you can give the like note
to? The item shop girl. It's that.
I'm thinking of one of Groos's henchmen that you can take his love letter and give it to the ghost, and then he gets harassed in his dreams for the rest of his life.
Yeah. So the girl that rejects him for giving him the note, you can give her the note, and he gets rejected, and he's just this little like pudge that like he's just this little fucker.
All right. Next is Piper. This is the mother.
Let's see.
Soup lady.
See.
You're not into MILFs? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's not that. It's just not into that one.
Oh, okay. And then who the fuck is Rhina? Who the fuck is Rhina? I don't even remember why I included this person. Who's this?
Oh, yeah. They're kind of like.
Oh, this is the lady. Is this
the child gets lost? If the child gets lost, that she's
oh, is this? Wait, is this the dude?
Yes. Yes.
This is
totally
the pirate dude.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Jackamar.
Dude.
This is her husband. Well,
yeah.
I think I need to put her like I'm not touching that just out of respect for him.
Yeah.
I think this guy would find and kill me if I said anything. So, oh, and then Phi. Where do we put Phi? Huh?
Oh, and make a whole no. You put that down. Make a whole other thing, okay, and call it Triple F.
Add a row below. Call this one.
And then below it, do a parentheses. I'm a fucking robot. Parentheses. And then put her in there.
All right. That's where she belongs.
Yeah.
All right, and then Sia and Lana. So this is I just included this because like, come on, we gotta include this one. You know. Yeah. All right. Now you're gonna say like, well, what the fuck, Kiwi? Why are you not outraged about this? All right, because this is what this game is. All right. This is like a
It's all scantily clad.
It's all
right?
it's all this, right?
Yeah.
It's not Legend of Zelda, where it's like, by the way, here's a fucking completely naked fairy woman.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put this
in.
I'm gonna put this in S. Lana. Now this is an adult, and the fact that I have to say that should concern you. Where do you weigh in on this?
I mean, like, I didn't play the game, so like, is she like cool or not cool?
She is like a mega simping after Link. I mean, she like the idea is like Sia is like the Link Gooner, and she's like the Link Coomer, if you will.
Okay, so all right, so she has to be above the Gooner version. So I'd probably.
Well, she's already in S. So put both of them in S. That's what you're saying.
I feel like, I mean, you can. What?
I would say put her in like B.
Like you were the one who played this game, man.
Yeah, I'll put her in B.
You played, and like, why do you put her in B versus like put her?
Because she's annoying as fuck. Like she's really annoying. I don't know.
There you go. Okay, perfect.
And
so the next one, the next one, which is her opposite, right?
Yeah, and then Sia over here. Put her in S because I mean.
Because she's like a true gooner.
Right,
like,
I mean like I probably would, you know.
you got the coom sense.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Now we get to Breath of the Wild. All right, guys. Oh, I gotta fuck Mifa. No, you don't.
No.
Go to jail. I don't know.
Jail.
I don't know. I don't think actually she's a child. Not Mia. Mifa? What is her name? Her name is Mifa, right? Yeah, Mifa. Mifa age. She's 100 years old. Okay, so she's 30.
I love that conversion you did right there.
No, it says some discussion. She says she's anywhere from 30 to 120. So she's.
Okay. I thought you were like 100. So we're talking about 30.
Okay. Anyway, still though D. I don't like. I hate this design for Zoras. I think this is the worst design that any Zora has ever had. Even worse than because like Twilight Princess, like it's still like they're fish, right? You know, they just really leaned into like fish, and I can kind of get down with that, but it's like it's nothing compared to Rudo. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
Urbosa. This is the Breath of the Wild Gerudo woman. And you know, how do you weigh in on muscle mommies, Spec?
I mean, again, for the longest time, I just thought they were all gay. So I never really had to think about that.
You never had to think about this until just now, literally just now.
Yeah. So I'd say, I mean, if they're not gay, probably put them in B tier.
Okay. We'll order these out later. All right, Breath of the Wild fairies. I probably would.
Probably A.
I probably would, yeah. All right, now Tears of the Kingdom. What the fuck is this character called? Mineru? I don't know. Okay, I don't know anything about these characters, so this is all just like purely off of first impression. What the fuck is this?
Go to jail. You're fucking up.
This is a dog. This is an actual dog. This is not even like.
Go to jail.
This isn't like an anthropomorphized like human creature. This is a dog.
Yeah, this is something that learned to
Go
walk.
away, Best Buy. All right, now is Pura. Okay, now it's important that we mention Tears of the Kingdom, right? Because this is what she looks like in Tears of the Kingdom, right? This is what she looks like in Tears of the Kingdom. This, right?
Yep.
This is what she looks like in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, let's make the distinction real clear.
Yeah, so I included, I mean, I have the one from Tears of the Kingdom on here, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that half of this character is go to jail, I feel like she can't go higher than C.
Well, I mean, you did. Okay, so with the same logic, though, you do have Princess Rudo on S.
But this isn't that's not the character that's not like this character spent an entire game as a child. Right? I mean, we can assume that all of these characters were children at some point in their existence. Maybe not the fairies.
Right.
But so what I'm saying is she spent an entire game being a this.
Well, I mean, the adult version, if it exists, A.
All right, then I'm putting it in B. I can't. That's it. It goes against everything that I stand for, but I'll put it in B. All right, Queen Sony from Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom. All right, this is like an actual like human creature, maybe. I don't know. Probably high B is my first impression. I don't know who the fuck this is, or what her significance is to anything.
Yeah, so this is like the entity that Zelda like is with
Zelda's mom, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. It's just she's like this entity that exists after Zelda goes back and like tries to learn a bunch of shit. From like the ancient civilization that like came before.
Okay.
So she's like that person she confides in.
Okay. So I don't know. Where do you think she goes?
I see. Just because like you don't have any interaction, at least not that I know of.
Okay. And then Yona. Tears of the Kingdom, Yona. You know, gotta go. I gotta say at least C. You know, that's about definitely higher than Lola for sure.
Check the age on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. Yeah. Age. 120.
Okay, we're good.
So older actually than Mipha is. Actually, this character is older than Mipha, so you know, I can't go to jail. And there it is. There it is, folks.
Definitive, right there.
There's the definitive list for this. Let me go ahead and save this. And yeah, please add a title to this list. No, I'm not gonna do that. But there it is. There's the list. And now we go to the real main event, which is
Zelda.
which Zelda is the most Dom. And I mean, obviously, it's Twilight Princess Zelda, but it's a question worth asking nonetheless.
Yeah, we gotta at least put them on some sort of scale here.
So yeah, I mean, this is more to put a scale than anything else. So I guess we start with Zelda 1 Zelda, right? And frankly, I think "Will Cry If You Raise Your Voice" is a good place for this.
I would agree with that.
I feel like
you don't have much interaction with them at all.
I feel like really. if I looked at her wrong, she might die. So, which I don't know that's necessarily like an issue of me or of anyone. I think that's just like, how do you make a character when there's no dialogue in a game?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you gotta assume.
So next up, Link to the Past Zelda.
So she's just kind of the victim the entire time. Literally, she's just being kicked around by all these monsters and shit. She's kind of just
the whole time.
Pretty much the whole time, and so you gotta wonder. You gotta be like, yeah, would try to take command.
Couldn't or wouldn't you think is a good place for this? All right.
I would say so, yeah.
And then so technically, Echoes of Wisdom and Link Between Worlds is the same Zelda. These are all within the same 5 years of each other. So
would one version of her be more?
So that's what to ask is, do you think that over the course of this time, do you think there's been a change?
Well, let's kind of discuss what happens in the game and how she interacts.
Because in this one, she takes an active role in. I'm pretty sure that's the case, right? I mean, I can't remember. Is Link Between Worlds a sequel the same as Link to the Past? Let's find out. No. Okay. Well then, scrap everything I said. I don't know. I would say that this is probably just a regular amount, and this is probably just a regular amount. Skyward Sword Zelda.
Oh, she's a tease, bro. She's an absolute tease.
Yeah. Do you think here?
No.
I don't think she's capable. I don't think she's capable.
I don't think she is
of overpowering me. I think I could fucking slam.
Yeah, I would say it's probably just regular.
If push came to shove, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't go out of my way to hit women. I don't do that. But I would fucking slam her to the mat.
Yeah, probably just a regular amount.
Ocarina of Time Zelda. I'm gonna say could or would. I don't think to the point that it's time for your 3 p.m. flattening. But the fact that she switches into Sheik, who is powerful enough to clear dungeons equal to Link, I think implies definitely could overpower if that was on the agenda.
Yeah, she's pretty serious at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, she's also helping you to
disregard the actual dungeon segment where you're in Ganon's castle and then you're going down and she fucking is every single time that Link gets hurt. I'm gonna chalk that up to she cares about Link.
Yeah.
But I think that's where she goes.
Yeah, you make a little concerned there about that one.
A feral dog. I'm gonna put Wand of Gamelon Zelda. I guess this should go up here. I don't know where this should go, but she deserves her own. She deserves her own tier. She fucking is bloodthirsty. I don't know that it's necessarily charged with any passion besides bloodlust.
She will destroy you.
But she will kill you, and she will dance in your blood. And I mean, Twilight Princess, come on. right?
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. You got it. Come on. All right. Now, Wind Waker Link, a Wind Waker Zelda. I'm gonna say could or would. This is Tetra we're talking about, and probably higher than Ocarina of Time. I think she mellows out, honestly, because this is her in Spirit Tracks, and I'm gonna say that she mellows out. I'm gonna say that she mellows out at that point.
He's like, I'm done with those days.
Yeah, those days are behind me. This is Minish Cap Zelda. I'm gonna say probably also here is like this is a pretty good bell curve, I think.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good bell curve, I think. That like most of them are just like regular girlfriend, probably. Regular amount.
For Feral Dog up there.
Feral Dog. This is an outlier. All right, this is this is an outlier. I don't think she's capable of any emotion besides fucking rampant bloodlust.
Yeah.
She fucking you killed me, and then she's like, good. Holy shit, lady.
I'm gonna dance in your blood.
So, all right, and there it is, folks. Then that concludes the Coomer Corner. Thank you all for that. And now we're going to do the closing segment now. Well, so with that, time to close. I don't know how we're gonna close. That's everything. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about, Spec.
All I'll say is, it's been great having these conversations. I feel like, although we might not be the experts on certain things, we can all agree upon the idea that there's experiences that we have with these games, 2D or 3D alike, and it's interesting to kind of describe and to kind of peer into each other's perspectives on how it's both kind of formed, us as a person a little bit, and how those same things can be shared amongst the both of us.
Yeah, and that's really what this podcast is about. Really, what I want to do, because I hate how like pretentious a lot of like modern YouTube channels have become with like how they talk about game stuff, which like I it's rich coming from me, because I was just talking about like sequelitis and Ego Raptor, and that's like sort of the birth of the pretentious era of like video essays. But I don't know. I really just want to have like candid conversations about like why people enjoy games and how to discuss liking a game and admitting that sometimes the things that you like, you just kind of like because it just isn't for you. And I think it's good to sort of have those moments. But thanks so much for coming on, Spec. Hopefully we'll have you again for another topic. I'll be sure to think of something. I'm having trouble thinking of like what to have people on for. But yeah, I'm happy that
we definitely hash some ideas out together and come up with some more stuff, man.
But hopefully we'll be seeing you again. And thank you all so much for watching. Spec, is there anything? I know you don't really have like you don't really have like a channel or anything. Is there anything you'd like to shout out? Any artistic endeavor you'd like to share?
Stay tuned. Moldy cheese is coming.
Okay, all right. Well, yes. Make sure to sign up for the Patreon, guys. Make sure to sign up for my Patreon, where I'll give you guys snacks every week. And
oh my God, you got snacks?
Yeah, but for real though, I do not have a Patreon. Don't go looking for a Patreon because I don't have one. I might. Listen, guys, I might have a Patreon if more snack enjoyers come on here. But
look, man, if you got Patreon, I'll be all about those snacks.
I'll putting out those snacks, man.
I'll be subscribing to get that Snackalicious.
Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. That's it. Bye.
Thank you.